All right, what up, folks? We're back with another Brain Drain, your favorite live show on the YouTubes. Forgot to hit start on that bad boy because we have some podcasters that like to listen to the show. What's going on? It is Saturday night, April 11, 2020. 2020? Is that how we say that? Yeah, I think it is. And we in here. We are definitely in here. Many of our traditional luminaries are in the house already. AU Taxman, Pocket Watch, Torqued, who's here quite often. We've also got David the Wizard. I think this is his first venture on the show. We're gonna talk to him on the horn later. I'm looking forward to that. Canoe Man in the house, of course. We've always got Canoe Man. J Rob here. Kyle W, also known as Crocosile, in the hizzle, and lots of other folks who haven't jumped into the chat just yet. Torque says he's sipping on some Long Branch. I'd like to hit that. Tonight I'm going to be drinking the Elijah Craig Small Batch, which you say, JT, man, that's kind of boring, yo. No, not necessarily. This is a special one that I got from the River Region Bourbon Group here in the Montgomery-Prattville area. This is picked from Larry's Beverage Outlet, which I believe is in Union City, Georgia. Anyway, and you got the Beast of Bourbon there on the back. It says Beast of Bourbon, River Region Bourbon Group. Warehouse T, floor 3, barrel number 6072563. Pretty cool little logo there. So, I love me some Elijah Craig. I know you guys do too, because it's just delicious. That's why you like it. I'm going to pour me a little something in here. Tonight we're going to be doing, in honor of my daughter getting her South Alabama little Jaguarage. I know you guys like to drink out of Auburn stuff, and I totally support that. I'm just saying I don't really feel like South Alabama and Auburn have much animosity. And that's where my daughter's going to be going to school next year, so this is to you guys. Bottoms up. Let's see what we got there. That's tasty. That's really tasty. Kind of sweet. A little bit of oak in there. Middle of the road hotness. Kind of smooth and even burn the whole way through. I like that. Let's see what else we got going down tonight. As I mentioned, Torqued is sipping on some Long Branch. Oh, here goes Hornatius saying 1 a.m. beaches. Come on, bro. I'm not going to make it to 1 a.m. You know that. War Eagle Bart's in the house. What up, Bart? Glad to have you here. Canoe Man says sipping on, I don't know what it was. Beast? God, please don't let it be. J Rob says Tito's and OJ. Very solid for his 2020 high school seniors. My daughter's one of them. And I don't know if you have a son or daughter who's in that class as well, but I'm glad to see you drinking in their honor. It's been a tough spring for them, man. I mean, they usually get to go to prom and graduation and honors day, and if they play sports, like my daughter plays soccer, you get like a senior day, and they give you a framed jersey and all that kind of stuff, and she missed out on all that, and all the 2020 kids did, so, kind of hating it for them. But anyway, me and J-Rob will drink in their honor today. Ben Woke, you guys remember Ben, who was with us until last summer. He's a big Tito's and pineapple juice guy, and I used to make fun of him for it. Like, that's such a puss drink, right? Because, I drink bourbon straight up, and I know you guys do too. And when we were in Minnesota for the Final Four, he's like, no, JG, you really got to drink this. So I did, and it was freaking delicious. I have not had one since, but it was really good. And I'm not going to be hating on anybody drinking on Tito's and a fruit. I would prefer pineapple juice to OJ, but that's cool if you want to roll that way. Canoe Man says sipping on some Old Granddad. That tells me a lot about you, Canoe Man, and it's a very good thing. Granddad is delicious. Somebody was trying to talk smack to me last week about how Granddad sucks, and I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to hear it. Is it as good as the really, really top shelf bourbons? No, it's not, but it doesn't cost that either. Among the affordable drinks, I think Old Granddad Bottled and Bond, and preferably the 114, are fine selections. In fact, that's what ripped me up so bad last week. Our first super chat is in, and it is from one of our luminaries, StewPup74, who's been here so long with us. Says, Happy Easter, everyone. What a nice message there. Happy Easter to everybody. Good peoples right there. Let's see what else we got. Hornatius drinking 100 proof Old Forester. Which kind is that? Is that one of the Whiskey Row versions? The blue, the green, the red? I don't know which one that is right off. I should, but I don't. AU Taxman says drinking on some Peerless Rye. Wow, Peerless is tough to get a hold of. I remember when we were in Kentucky back during the winter, we went to a little honey hole there, and I asked for their suggestions, and they were like, we've got this Peerless. And I was like, I did end up taking it because it was very expensive, and I wasn't sure. I didn't want to spend it on something, big money on something I didn't know, didn't trust. But that Peerless came very highly recommended. So good for you. Pocket Watch says you have to honor your daughter's school, referencing the South Alabama. She even got me one of these South Alabama dad things I got to put on my I got to put this here on my desk. I mean, I guess I am a Jag dad. Jag dad. Let's see. AU Taxman says Ben Wolk equals huge dog fan, just like Ruxpin. Oh, Ruxpin did it was kind of a moment, a little TMI moment, where Ruxpin was explaining that he actually grew up a Georgia fan, but he claims to be full Auburn now. Of course, I mean, anybody that says they love Auburn, we take them in, at least initially. We might be skeptical of them, but Ruxpin, we consider him family. Sometimes people just change. Sterling says Granddad sucks. Well, sorry you feel that way, Sterling. Why don't you go back to drinking your Michelob Ultra? Hope it tastes good. Maybe a daiquiri. Would you be willing to drink another daiquiri tonight? How about a mimosa? That'd be delicious. Yeah, mimosa. We'll do that for you. Let's see what else we got. David the Wizard says he's cracking these Corona seltzers. Stop. No, you're not. Willboy AU says drinking an IPA. That sounds good. Maybe. I'm not generally an IPA guy, but sometimes they're sneaky. They're sneaky good. Torque says he's from Athens. I'm sure that's the city drink. I think he's actually from Atlanta. And I don't even know if he's from Atlanta. He actually hangs out in Flowery Branch, which to me is not really Atlanta, but I think he is living in Athens right now or over that way. We miss Ben. Ben's good people. Let's see. Hornatius says drinking some chiropractor recommended Schweppes. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. McGreedy was clowning on old grand. Oh, it was McCready. Like he knows anything, Georgia Rebel. You know, he's a goob. McCready, a lot of things that I consider him an expert on. Bourbon is not one of them. He would know the difference. If I gave him a glass of Old Granddad and I gave him a glass of Magnus, he wouldn't know the difference. He doesn't know shit about that. Let's see. Stoop Up says sipping on some Jefferson Reserve. That is delicious. My wife bought some of that. The one that's aged in the casks. I think I prefer the regular better, but she likes the wine better, and by God, that's what she gets. Canoe Man clarifies that he is drinking the Old Granddad 114. Rux is checking in. What up, Rux? Says he's drinking some IPA. And then Canoe Man affirms the fact that Ruxpin is indeed family. All right. So we've got our first folks drinking. I'm glad to see you guys drinking on a Saturday night. I feel like that's what Saturday nights are meant for, football season or not. Thank you for reminding me, Hornatius, that I still have Doc Dumpster on the horn here. That was left over from the last show that we did. There we go. Now we're straight. Broski. Hornatius says Neil drinks wine during a football show. If that's true, and I bet it is, that's just another check mark against him. Neil's good. He's good, dude. He's good, dude. Got a good family. His wife's probably more of an all-star than he is, in my opinion, but he does like the wine, and that's cool if you're into wine. I'm not. I got no interest. War Eagle Bart says he's eating some mint M&Ms. I'm going to tell you guys, honestly, this quarantine situation, we've taken it pretty seriously here in the Tate household. My daughter is, obviously she's in neutral because the schools got shut down, and I don't think they're going back. They're not going back. So she's already attended her final high school class. So we're just chilling here. My wife's been laid off, and then I'm doing my thing. Whatever. We don't have a whole lot to do at auburnsports.com, but outside of what B-Matt and Jay Lee and Nate are doing. So we've been really hanging in the house, and I have gained a little bit of weight. I can't get to the gym. Neither can you guys. And I really like running on the soccer field, and they closed it. So I'm just basically walking around the neighborhood. I'm not a big jogger. I have very short legs, so I don't know. I just walk and eat a lot. It's not going well. I don't know how you guys are doing weight wise. And there was a thread. I want to say Davidson Tiger started it the other day and was like, "How are things going weight wise?" And everybody's like, "Been busting my ass, working out 50 times a day, and I'm losing weight." And I was like, "Right here, guys. I don't need to hear that." No, good for y'all. Georgia Rebel drinking 1792 on the rocks. Man, that's good stuff right there. Not sure about the rocks, but I'm not going to hate on you for that. Did go by on my way to the Willett Distillery when we toured it in the wintertime. 1792 is like half a mile away from there in Bardstown, and it looked really nice. They age those barrels for 1792 in some really cool looking. To me, they look like whiskey warehouses. It's for 1792. The ones at Willett don't necessarily. To me, they look a little more moderny. Like not moderny. They look more like a farmhouse versus the 1792 warehouses look a little more. They're dark lumber, and they just look like nobody's really in there, which you don't want anybody in there. Anyway, Sterling says drinking Elijah Craig because that's what the man at the liquor store said to replace my Buffalo Trace with. Sad face. Womp womp. I don't know where you're at, Sterling, but I know a place in Montgomery. I don't know if you live over here. We could hook you up with some Buffalo Trace. I don't know if you're this way. If you are, let me know. And we can make that happen, brother. I know a little place where I can get some Buffalo Trace. It's delicious bourbon. It really is. Let's see. Brian G says 9-banded small batch whiskey. I don't know that one, but I bet it's delicious. I'd like to have some of that. Canoeman says I'm close to being larger than the house. Finish yo drank is what Hornacia says I did. There's nothing left, but I can drink another one. Be my pleasure. Be my pleasure. Torque says dudes that drink their bourbon on the rocks are the same kind of guys that need Max Flow tampons. Now, listen, Torqued. I don't know about that, brother. I'm not going to hate on people that drink on the rocks. My father-in-law used to drink on the rocks, and he was an absolute man. And he knew more about bourbon than I did. Now, he liked to slum it. I mean, if I ever showed up with, like, Blanton's, he would berate me for it because he would drink Kentucky Gentleman, which is, as Dornacious. I'm sorry, as a, dadgummit, Doc Dumpster would say it's in the very bottom shelf. It's in the basement of the ABC, but so he liked to drink that stuff. He would always argue with me and say that there's no difference between Kentucky Gentleman, which is a 3-year bourbon, and it tastes like it, versus a 10-year bourbon because it's all the same. I was like, hey, man, I don't want to fight with you, Mr. Props. But he would drink that stuff. He's a man, for real. Sterling says he's in Naperville, Illinois. I wonder where that is. I'll look that up on my map here because I'm interested. I actually am. Because Jan of Voodoo fame is from Southern Illinois. You're probably in like Chicago, right? Naperville. Yeah. I mean, I guess you would call that Greater Chicago. From my perspective, it is. She grew up in a town called Mount Carmel, Illinois. That's where Jan grew up. Jan of Voodoo Wing Company fame. Let's see. D Lucky jumps in with a super chat. Thank you, D Lucky. Appreciate you and your support of our stream here. Love the Cat says down it. That one right there is for you, big boy. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That's a really good bourbon. I like that. My wife loves to talk about how smooth the bourbon is. She'll be like, oh, it's really smooth, but sometimes it tastes like rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is smooth, too. But that one's not. That's a good, full-bodied one. I like it. That's good. Glad I got that. Yeah. Naperville is just a little bit outside Chicago. I guess, I don't know if you would call that an extreme western suburb, but anyway, it's in the Greater Chicago area. Hey, Taxman says there's no wrong way to drink a bourbon. I agree. I'm not going to hate. Well, I'm not. Let me take that back. If you mix it and it's a bourbon that shouldn't be mixed, then I will make fun of you. But if you're just going to drink it on the rocks or drink it neat or whatever, you're all good. Because as you guys know, I've told the story, my wife likes to mix Blanton's with Diet Coke. Don't do that again, please. Don't. It's bad. She won't do it anymore. Canoe Man says, drinking from my Castle and Key glass. Looking forward to being able to drink Castle and Key bourbon in it in a couple of years. Okay. Yay. Let's see. Torque says 1 a.m. is a long way away. Pace yourself, broski. 7:38 in the Central Time Zone. We've only been live for about, I don't know, I've been on for 15 minutes or something. I think we've been live on the internet for 20. So we're just kind of rolling along, doing our thing. J-Rob, appreciate you with the super chat there. Says, J-Rob's COVID-19 stimulus package. Stimulus. Thank you, J-Rob. Appreciate you jumping in there with a super chat and being part of the stream. Supporting what we do here. Let's see. I had some other things I wanted to discuss. If you guys are into candy, the official candy of the Brain Drain is Tori and Howard. I don't know if you can see that. We got these at the no, actually, I think administrative assistant ordered these from the Tori and Howard website. You can also get these chewy fruities at the Walgreens. And the only reason it's the official candy is because Tori's my girl. Tori is my wife's first cousin and a gal that I've known for a really long time. And her product here, Tori and Howard, is like gone national. So I don't know if you guys go out and find these. They're delicious little candies. I mean, I've had a few, but I'm trying not to eat them right now because the sugar will just kind of slow me down a little bit, but it's delicious. What else do we have here? I'm going to go through a few things I want to talk about before we get on the line. I know we've got, for sure, we're going to have some debut performances tonight. Man, love the cats. I'm not high as AF. I'm not even high. We're going to have some first-time callers tonight, including Vance Me, or Vancine. We'll have to ask him for clarification on that. He is currently in the process of getting drunk, I believe. We're going to check in on that. I don't think he's drinking bourbon, though. But again, not going to judge. And David the Wizard is going to be on the show tonight. He's already in the chat. And looking forward to David the Wizard. We're going to have to get to the bottom of his problem, his beef with a wireless damn engineer. That came out of nowhere for me. He started a thread, I think it was earlier this week or maybe last week, or he just all of a sudden started shitting on wireless damn engineer, which, I mean, wireless damn engineer is not necessarily the nicest or friendliest dude in the bunker, but relatively inoffensive. I mean, he's not someone that's starting a lot of fights, I don't think. And all of a sudden we got a beef going. So we'll have to get to the bottom of that with David the Wizard. And I've just kind of wanted to have him on the horn before. Haven't you guys? I mean, he seems... First of all, obviously, he's a volume shooter when it comes to the ladies. And then second of all, like, he's had some times where he didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I just wonder how lucid he is in general. David the Wizard says he sucks. You talking about wireless damn engineer. Dude, YouTube was going to block that for saying he sucks. That's not that bad. Let's see. David says, it ain't come out of nowhere. That dude's been after me for a good minute. I hope that we can get Wireless Damn on, too, to kind of hear his side of this beef. That's pretty funny. J-Rob says that's some swanky candy. Come on, it's at Walgreens. It can't be that swanky. But, yeah, it's very nicely packaged. These ain't M&Ms. But, I mean, they're at Walgreens. Stoop Up says his wife swears the best candy are the Easter color M&Ms, and I agree they are amazing. Aren't they just M&Ms with different colors on them? Or is it a different flavor? I can't really... I'm not a big M&Ms guy. So I don't know. Let's see. Pocket Watch says the call list tonight is epic. Yeah, I mean, seriously, our array of callers last week was incredible. We had a few folks on the horn for the first time, which included Auburn Smith was on with us last time. Papa Bear jumped on with us. And then we had some of the regular... I mean, Ruxpin was on. Golly, who else, dude? I was so stoked to have Auburn Smith and CJ 3131 on. Yeah. Bob Maplethorpe's in the house, another bunker great. He says he's a bit scared to hear the whiz. Might cry or abort the drain. Oh, I would hate for you to do either one of those. War Eagle Bart says never got the beef info. We're gonna get to the bottom of that, believe me. Torque says he thinks they're the same guy. Oh man, Hornatius says wireless stem engineers are the best backhanded complimenting mofo on the bunk. we had a tough start when I first got involved with the site in 2012. He was a little bit. I thought he went a little too far with some of the things that he was posting, particularly memes. But as I recall, we had a conversation about it, and he was cool. Like he just kind of eased back. I don't ask people to just shut up or anything. And if you really feel a certain way, that's fine. Just dial it back a little bit, you know? Do we have to have like a gun violence gif all the time? You know, that kind of thing. And I think he is, I think he's great. Let's see. J-Rob says, if you don't like Reese's Easter eggs, come to Madison, Alabama and catch these hands. Torque says, can we get John Force on after Jalen Green signs with Auburn? Ooh. We'll do the Jalen Green retribution call around. everybody who doubted Bruce Pearl in landing Jalen Green. Should it happen that way, we're going to have to go through and make them all atone for their lack of faith. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Of the Cat says, Smitty, Auburn Smith, is the best real dude on the bunk. You wouldn't find better than Smitty, I don't think. And I say that as he's somebody that, behind the scenes several times has really stepped up with effort and money and just investment into people that needed it or deserved it or had some kind of an effort going that deserved that kind of investment. I don't necessarily say financial, although he has done some of that, but he's not a guy that you'll never know about it. He's really, really quiet and lays low about what he's doing, but the guy helps people behind the scenes, and he's kind of like a guardian angel on the bunker. I mean, Papa Bear is too, and Jay Walker is too. Those guys are all really, really cool. And our Thomas. Sometimes people get crossways with Rob, and I find that very strange because when I deal with Rob in person, he is just 100% legit, cool, altruistic, caring person. And it's weird to me that some people have a problem with him on the bunker. I know he gets a little DM8-ish a little bit sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's just because he's engaged, with what's going on the site. That's all. Barn Baller in the house says, what up, Jay? I appreciate all you do, my guy. Keep on keeping on, playa. Appreciate you being part of the show tonight, Barn Baller. I like that name. Canoe Man says, how does anyone not trust BP? Lots of people don't trust BP because he's not coaching their team, so they don't like him. They find him ingenuine and slimy. He is neither, in my opinion, but that's cool. Whatever. Some people don't get it. Let's see. We got someone on the chat says it's called JGT is the handle. Nah, we're gonna hold that. Oh man, I don't even understand what you're trying to say, JGT. But I'm glad to have you here, and I hope you enjoy your drink. We got a big super chat coming through from Ruxpin, our main guy, Ruxpin. This one just says Jay Lee. I've already chatted with Jay Lee, and he's definitely going to be on the show tonight to give us a real look into basketball. We've got some stuff going down here shortly. Thor is going down tomorrow between Auburn and Oklahoma State. He's a class of 2020, power forward, 6'10", just a pearl kind of power forward, thin, fast, bouncy, can get out in transition. So they'd love to have him. And if you read Jay Lee's Hoop Scoops, Jay Lee is cautiously optimistic that Auburn's going to actually get him. He's a situation where Auburn didn't get involved with him until about, and I'm just estimating here, maybe 2 months ago. And he's like definitely top 100. He might be top 50-ish player, top 10-ish power forwards. And Auburn just said, hey, let's just call that JT Thor guy. Here we go. Let's just get him on the horn. Why not? Hey, it's Auburn. You want to come? Oh, you do? Oh, are you interested in playing here? Oh, you are? Well, why don't you come on, bro? We'd love to have you. And I mean, it's think about that. Like now, he would have been the biggest recruit Auburn had signed, and ever since Cliff Ellis left. And then in this case, Auburn just kind of gets on the horn 2 months ago and says, "Why not?" And then they've got a shot to get him, and may get him. BP guys. Then you got Jalen Green coming up. I'm not sure exactly the date on that one. It's about a week away for Jalen, and then you've got Greg Brown as well. Who texted me? Oh. Yeah, so this is my high school friend group here. I'm kind of stuck on. I got a little bit of a problem with that one. I think I can talk about it freely on here because I don't think these guys watch it. These are my friends from high school, and none of them are in Alabama or Auburn people or Alabama people, whatever. They're just often we're one's in Colorado, one's in Oklahoma City, one's in Tulsa, one's in Baltimore, one's in Memphis. I think I'm missing somebody. No, maybe I'm not. And they don't, whatever. But one of them, the guy in Memphis is he's like an artist. He's a guitar player, and he plays like it's like kind of Christian-y, folky, no cussing, no rapping. You know what I mean? It's just very wholesome. I don't even know what genre it would be. It's like folky, and it's just him and a guitar, and he sings about love and loss and all that kind of stuff. And like my friends are more into it than I am because listen, I listen to Avenged Sevenfold and Metallica and like got like Downey got like Depeche Mode and stuff like that. This group called Birthday Massacre from Toronto. I mean, I listen to kind of angry music usually, and his is like it's too wholesome and too like folky. Like if I'm gonna listen to a guitar, I want to listen to like angry, like what I mean, Kirk Hammett or something like that. Tom Morello. And so they're always like, "Hey, Devin's gonna do this concert on Facebook, and let's all tune in." And I'm like, "Okay." And so today I tuned in, and I mean, it's really cool that he's doing a concert on Facebook, but like I just can't get in the music. And my friends are on the text, just like, "Oh my God, he's so awesome! This is so great! I love this." And I'm just like, "No, I can't." I mean, I love you, dude. I'm so happy that you made a career out of like this playing music and stuff. But I just can't do it. Just can't do it. I can't do it. I don't know why you guys even care about that story, but I just thought I'd share it. It's like, dude, it's just like pulling teeth. And it was that way, like in high school and in college, he was playing, on the bar scene, and they were playing that same music, and I just like, can you guys play any Skinny Puppy? Can you guys do Detroit Rock City? I mean, is there anything? No. No, it's going to be Sounds of Silence. Okay, cool. That's great too. All right, let's see what we got. Ruxpin says if we land these 3 studs, OMG. Yeah, I would not doubt that BP's going to pull something here. He's been working these guys a long time. Not Thor as much, but Brown and Green for sure. Canoe Man says, what do you think the odds of the 3-man sweep there are? He was asking Ruxpin, but I'll jump in and say not likely. I just don't know if you can get all 3. But if you get 2, it's still incredible. Hell, if you get the right one, it's incredible. I don't think Thor is a make or break player. I think Jalen is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think Jalen, if you get him, you put him in the starting lineup at shooting guard or small forward, depending on what you want to do with him. And you just let him go. You just wind him up and let him go, Thor's needs a little more development than that. I don't think he's a player you put in the lineup and you just say, "Oh, he's going to kill everybody." But he'd be a great guy to have. Tremendous guy to have. Barn Baller says, or first of all, Rich 420 says Thor is ranked 54, I believe. All right, very good. Very good to know. Again, I was thinking top 50-ish, and I was pretty close. Barn Baller says, I'm late. What are you drinking, Jay? You're drinking some Admiral Nelson. I would hope you're drinking something a little bit better. I'm drinking this Elijah Craig small batch. It's a store pick from Larry's Beverage Outlet, which I believe is in Union City, Georgia. I got this through the River Region Bourbon Group here in Montgomery, Prattville, Millbrook area. You can see it. It's called the Beast of Bourbon, the River Region Bourbon Group there. And it's a store pick, and so it doesn't taste exactly like Elijah Craig normally tastes, but Because I think of Elijah Craig as being kind of sweet. It's not quite as sweet as like regular Elijah Craig, but it's good. It's a little more oaky, but it's good. I mean, Elijah Craig's good, solid bourbon. Enjoy it. Enjoy them. Dang, you guys are chatting stuff up big time here, yo. I can't even catch up. AU Taxman says, JGT sounds like your friend is Van Driesen from Beavis and Butthead. God, I hope he doesn't watch this. Devin, I love you. You know that. If you are watching this. If you do watch this later. Torch says Depeche Mode was legit, though. Was legit. I get it. They're just a little... They're more gothy. First of all, Hornatius, J-Rob to the class of 2020. They're a little too gothy for me now. At 47 years old, I don't feel comfortable at a Depeche Mode concert anymore. Yeah, I mean, you got to pretty much wear eyeliner and shit. Which, I mean, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. But back in 89, 90, 91, 101 tour, you didn't have to be like that. I had tickets to see him fourth row at Reunion Arena in Dallas in the summer of 90, and I didn't go. I didn't go because I was working at a summer camp, and I felt like I needed to come through. Well, let me rephrase that. My dad thought that I needed to come through and uphold my responsibilities at the camp instead of going to the Depeche Mode concert, which I did. Kyle W. with a super chat, a.k.a. Crocosile, with a new avatar on the bunker. Instead of the crudely drawn gray and black Rivals jersey, it's now a crudely drawn blue and orange Rivals jersey. Crocosile says, need Barn Baller to call in and tell us BP's shoe size. What? Oh, my goodness gracious. Spread Attack U18 in the house as well. Says, so glad you are doing this. This is why I'm subbed for life, 15 to 20 years, Mastermind. Yes, you are. You are Mastermind. JGT. It's kind of weird having somebody called JGT. That's cool. Says Depeche Mode is excellent. I'm glad you feel that way. I like them too, but I like their older stuff way better. If I was on a desert island, though, and you get 3 albums, Depeche Mode 101, which is kind of cheating because it's a double album, but that would be one of my 3. I know every song on that, and every song on that affects me one way or another. Mostly good. So that's one of my all-time favorites. And sometimes when I'm driving home from Auburn late at night, not these days, but like during football season, and I crank up Behind the Wheel from 101, I just imagine myself being there at the Rose Bowl in 88, front row for that bad boy. Me and some hot chick named like Hannah, Courtney, Sarah, Jennifer, maybe a Becky. We're all just partying, you know. Yeah, these are the things I think about. I'm totally willing to talk about the things you think about. Okay, I'm going to go. Oh, a couple things I want to talk about before we open up the phone lines, just to make sure we cover this stuff. Auburn did get a commitment this week from a potential left tackle, could also play right tackle, Brandon Council from University of Akron, who's a grad transfer. You know, it's first of all, Auburn needs tackles, so good for Auburn to get this kid into the system. And have him as an option this fall. I just don't know if this kid is going to be a starter or not. I trust Cole Kubelik's assessments on offensive linemen because he played the position. And on top of that, like Cole just has put a lot of professional effort into learning more about offensive line. I mean, he played it, and I'm not trying to say he didn't know shit because he played at Auburn. He did. But, I mean, he's pushed it beyond just, hey, I played line. He's learned about it more. And he's watched film with guys and critiqued by guys who actually played in the NFL for a long time. Listen, he's really upped his game, I think, when it comes to scouting the offensive line. And he has a lot of concerns about Brandon Council as a starter. That's not to say that Brandon Council, he's going to get probably a better caliber of coaching here from Big Nell. And there's every reason to believe he's still going to get better. I mean, he's not like he's 35 years old or anything. But I just don't know if he's the guy that you plug in day one and say, oh, there's your left tackle. I don't know. But anyway, Brandon Council definitely is going to help. I mean, at least you have that depth, knowing here's a kid that's played a bunch at Akron, understands the position, and at least he has strength, and he has a good punch. But he also lunges more than you would think. And I think that really bothered Cole. And if it bothers Cole, it kind of bothers me too. We also had a chance to talk with Daniel Newton in the house. Wow. Daniel N. First of all, I'm glad to have you on the chat, brother. Daniel N. was a member of the site for a long time. I'm not going to say what his handle was unless he wants to tell you what it was. But he left maybe, I don't know, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. And you were definitely missed, man. I gave you an emotional plea for you to stay, and you basically told me to. No, you didn't. You were nice about it. You're really nice about it, actually. But you are missed, brother. I hope you come back one of these days. I think the negativity from some folks really pissed you off, which honestly is a fair criticism. It happens sometimes. I get it. It happens to me too. Georgia Rebel says, "Did you say Bick?" Yeah, he's the offensive line coach at Auburn now, and yes, it's the guy you know. He's now at Auburn. Let's see. So anyway, he says there's never been a hot chick named Becky. That's not true. But in fact, most of the Beckys that I have known in my life are cute. At least cute, if not hot. But I only know like 4. I can think of 4 right off. I don't know. It's a good typical white girl name though, isn't it? That's kind of where I was going with that. Canoe Man says, "Tell us more about Sarah." Oh, I better not get into that. Georgia Rebel correctly notes that Becky from Full House was fire. Absolutely. Lori Loughlin, super hot. And I don't care that she like paid money to try to get her daughter into USC. I don't give one shit about that. She was hot then. She's super hot now. And Lori Loughlin's just A+. And no, I don't have a picture. You can Google that if you want to. Let's see. Daniel N says, "I pretty much nailed it." Yeah, I hope you come back, or I hope you are back, because you're good. You're a good one. You're one of the real ones. And I was bummed when you left. I think you know that because I told you that. Andrew B says, "JGT, your roots are showing." Yep. Quarantine, bro. That's how it goes. I got nobody. My girl Emily is not available to do my hair, yo. And I was trying to work on her a little bit, be like, because she also does my wife's hair, and I was like, "Hey, I know your salon's closed, but would you be willing to make a house call?" She was like, "Absolutely not." I think it's like prohibited. I don't know if it's illegal. Well, I don't know if it's illegal, but I don't know if it's considered immoral or it's just simply looked down upon. But I think working outside of the salon is not a great idea. I don't think it's a good look, and she was not having it. So at this point, I just got to roll with what I got. And this, I don't know how long it's going to be before I get back. My hair's going to get really long. Raven is in the house. Raven P, one of our best chatters, always here for us. Says, "Sorry I'm late to the drain. JG, what did I miss? Not much yet. I'm drinking Elijah Craig tonight, though, brother, and I've already had, I think, 3 shots. Torque has already told me to slow down a little bit, although Hornatius has told me to speed up because he's a dick like that. He wants me to get drunk and act like an idiot. That's pretty much that's what Hornatius is here to do." Oh, was the NBA 2K thing was tonight, wasn't it? It says Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton are going to play. I kind of care about that a little bit. I'm surprised Patrick Beverly didn't make it. AU Taxman says Daniel Newton is a local vertical. No, he's not. I promise he's not. No, he's not. I don't know. You guys would probably remember the name though, if he said who he was. I mean, he wasn't like super duper high profile poster, but he's probably a name you'd remember. Canoe Man correctly assesses that Aunt Becky, a.k.a. Lori Loughlin, was always a smoke show and aged extremely well. Yeah, I mean, probably had some surgery, but that's fine. You know, I mean, whatever. There's pressure in Hollywood for these girls to stay looking very young, and although it bothers me, that ain't my, they're just playing by the rules to make their money, and I don't hate it. Whatever. Andrew B says, "Can you please drunk dial Gus tonight?" I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I have been known to just text him kind of out of the blue sometimes, though, just about stuff. I try not to do it drunk. I'm not drunk that much, guys. Seriously, stop judging. He's been good about answering, though. He's all right. I like Gus. Told you guys. I know you guys get mad at him, and I totally get it. I don't know if you guys saw my tie tonight. I got Elvis Presley. He's the man. Love Elvis Presley, yo. Guy's an absolute beast. Priscilla Presley, unbelievable. Dude did a hell of a job. Call Me Biscuit jumps in with a super chat. Says, Miss Sunny, do you think you could ask... You miss Sunny. Oh, man, I do too. Do you think you could ask him to join the show in the future? Pat Dye would be easy if you said you were going to talk about Japanese maples. Yeah. You know, I talked to Sunny like at the arena, and it's kind of tough to talk to Sunny sometimes. And it's not because he's old, it's just because he's Sunny, and he's kind of like he's like a jukebox, right? So basically, you pick a story and then he tells it to you, and then at the end of that story, you pick another story, or you can just hit random and he'll just give you a story. He's kind of a storyteller. That's what he does, and it translates really well to radio. But it's tough. He would be tough to have on the phone unless we were just saying, "Hey, Sonny, remember that time when Barkley blank blank blank?" And then he would talk about that for 5 minutes, and then say, "Hey, Sonny, remember that time you and Rod blank blank blank?" You know, and then he would talk about it for 5 minutes. I mean, it's hard to have a conversation with Sonny. I didn't know him in the 80s. I would be interested to ask P. Marsh about that and see what he thought about it. But, and I listen, I love Sonny as much as anybody. He's made my life better, significantly so, just by being him. But I wouldn't really want him on the show, I don't think. Raven says he's out of Elijah Craig at the moment. It's a red wine night here. Wait, what? Red wine? I hope you're with a girl. Celebrating our wedding anniversary with my very own administrative assistant. All right, we've got an answer. Okay, you are with a girl. Everything's fine then. Everything is fine. When you listen to the DOG, you got the cultivating lyrics that be captivating me, who listens to the words that I speak. Alpha Tiger 08 is in the hizzle. Says, what's up, swoogans? We're glad to have you here, Alpha Tiger. Thank you very much for the super chat, Call Me Biscuit. You are so great. We're so glad to have you here, both on the site and here on the show. Every single time we do a show, you're the best. Canoe Man says Sonny is the best of all time. The boat. Sonny's tremendous on the radio. And I actually think that Andy managed to unlock even more greatness out of Sonny, although I thought Rod did a nice job with him. But Andy, I feel like Rod was just kind of doing Rod stuff, and then Sonny would kind of jump in and Rod would make space for him, but Rod was still doing Rod, right? I feel like Andy can do a little bit more than Rod in that he can do Andy and he can kind of play along with Sonny more and kind of pull him along. It's like he's pulling him on a string, you know? And he kind of like pulls him into traps, not mean traps, just funny traps. And it's, yeah, Andy's a little more devilish, in my opinion, a little more devilish than Rod was. You know, Rod was just kind of a really straight dude. I mean, you know, you would hear stories about, because I would say, like, to my, I don't want to give names, but folks that work at Auburn that knew Rod a lot better than I did, I'd be like, you know, what's Rod like? And they'd be like, oh, man, he's crazy. And I'm like, well, tell me about what he did, something that he did that's crazy. And it would be something like really, you know, inert. I was like, wow, that is really crazy. You know, and it wasn't. And I feel like Andy's, I mean, I'm not saying like Andy's like out drunk swinging from trapezes or anything like that. He's not, but Andy will take some digs that Rod wouldn't. I'll put it that way. I happen to think Andy's really, really good, particularly in basketball. He's really good at basketball. Football's kind of coming along a little bit. And part of the problem in football is you can't see. I mean, you really can't. I'm not bitching. I don't even go to the games anymore because I'm here with you guys. But when you're sitting in the end zone and you've got half the game is played on the other side of the stadium, you can't see shit. And you've got to rely on your spotter. It ain't the same without Bo Benton. You guys know that. But it's just tough. It makes it harder, and it adds a lot of complexity. And I don't think people understand how tough that would be to actually give a play-by-play account of the game when you can't see it. Yeah. Ruxpin says, if you have to ask what a swoogan is, bro, listen, I'm 47, and I'm really not that cool. So, yeah. Jake R. in the house says, what up, Jay? Rebel Grove bro here. Yeah. We love our friends over at Rebel Groves with Neil McGreefy and Chance. They do a great job over there, obviously talking about Ole Miss and other things going on in the state of Mississippi. Our friends over in Mississippi. Alpha Tiger now using swoogan in a sentence. He says, why is Gus Malzahn such a swoogan? All right. I'm going to go ahead and look this up before I use it too much. By the way, I am not saying that Gus Malzahn is a swoogan. I'm just looking this up. I don't know what that means. Swoogan urban, I guess, is what I'm going to have to do. Oh, man. It's not showing up, bro. Although I looked up, incidentally, I looked up it says NARB swaggin is something you can talk about. And a NARB is a no apparent reason boner. I've never heard that. But I like that. A NARB. Doesn't happen as often now. Maybe it did, when I was 18 or whatever. Yeah, it's not showing up on Urban Dictionary, so no, JGT did not call that. I don't even know. I don't even know what that is. You guys are pretty funny. Andrew B, thank goodness, says he's 30 and doesn't know what a swoogan is. That's good. Makes me feel better. Ruxman says I need to turn the horn on. We need David the Wizard. Yeah, we do need David the Wizard. Real quick though, there are a few more things. Seriously, I want to get through this. We talked to KJ Britt on Thursday. He's pretty straight-laced linebacker, talking about how he does not have access to a gym. We talked to Ryan Russell on Tuesday, and I asked him on the teleconference, what percentage would you say of your kids have access to a gym right now? And he said 30%. I thought it was going to be like 80%. I was like, wow. So KJ is in the 70% that do not have access to a gym. He said he and his kid bro and a Bluetooth speaker, and they just work out in the yard, man, every day. Ryan Russell makes them workout plans if they have access to a gym or if they don't have access to a gym. It's obviously a different group of drills. But Ryan Russell's got that handle, and he didn't really seem that fussed by it. He was like, hey, we can make this work too if you don't have a gym, which a lot of kids don't have a gym at home. Give me a break. So anyway, I thought that was very telling. And KJ, you could tell, was just really itching to get back to Auburn and just kind of get back to seeing his teammates, seeing his coaches, having those meetings with his linebackers and stuff. I mean, he's a leader now, big time, and I think he misses it, and he really is ready to get back. We also talked to Bo Nix a little bit. Bo is well practiced when it comes to interviews, so you don't necessarily get a lot from Bo, but he was saying that it feels like he's been gone from his teammates for months, even though it's only been like 3 weeks. And he said he's been making progress with the video chats with Chad. Understanding the new offense. It's not totally new, but understanding the things that Chad's going to be changing and maybe some things he's going to get away from. And it seems like, talking to Bo about it, he's understanding exactly where Chad wants to go with this offense. The conversations have been good. He has a good grasp of some of the things that Chad wants to do. And he's just looking forward to being able to get back to Auburn physically and go through some, informal drills and understand some of the route combinations and stuff like that. Some of the calls and the checks that he's going to have to change for the football season. But it seemed like he was doing well, just kind of communicating with Chad. And I'm not surprised at all, because Chad is a stud. First of all, I think Chad is an absolutely brilliant human being. I think he's going to be great for Auburn. Of course, I said that about Tony Barbie in the beginning, but just don't hold me to that. Chad is awesome. One of my all-time favorite people to deal with. And I think he's going to make a lot of sense out of some of the things that you and I have wondered, what the hell are they doing? I don't think Chad's going to let that shit slide. And I also think Chad, and like these dudes that have come before him, has the ability to get on the horn and be like, we're not doing that. Gus, we're not going to run up the middle again. Gus, we're not going to do that. I think that Chad can actually overrule Gus. There's not many people that can do that outside of Christie. But I do think Chad's one of them. I don't say he can do it every time. It's not like Gus is just going to bow down and agree to everything, but I think if Chad says we've got to change this, I think he'll do it. My opinion. Also, talking to Ryan Russell was awesome on Tuesday. B-Matt and Nate both wrote something about that as well as during the week, but Ryan Russell is an absolute stud, and sometimes people want to make fun of him on the bunker, and it pisses me off because Ryan Russell's a badass. And I think he's really good at what he does. And you guys would absolutely, every single person in this chat would love to hang out and drink a beer and talk shop with Ryan Russell. I promise you. He is as cool a dude as you can imagine. And when people rag on him because the offensive linemen aren't big enough, he's a chef. Think of him as a chef, and he's creating dishes based on what the customer wants, and the customer is Gus Malzahn. And if Gus says, "I want them to be able to go 80 plays," well, maybe those guys are going to have to be thinner because they've got to run more. I don't blame Ryan for that stuff. And I sure as hell don't blame Ryan when people have ACL tears and stuff. What the hell does that have to do with him? Look who it is. It's Jazzy Joe's back in the house, my man. Jazzy Joe with a super chat. Oh, man, Jazzy Joe, glad to have you back, bro. We haven't seen you around in the last, let's say, 3 shows. But, man, it's awesome. Awesome having you on the show, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. It says, what's up, my peeps? Everybody loves Joe, yo. Everybody loves Joe. A couple of things that we're talking about on the bunker. There was some angst about Auburn canceling summer classes. They haven't completely canceled the summer selections yet. There are 3 summer sessions, I should say. The first 2 have been moved online. The third one is TBA. And I don't think they have to commit to a decision on that for like another month. So it's within the reason that Auburn is going to, I'm saying it's within reason. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's within reason that Auburn's 3rd summer session can be done in person, assuming that, we continue to social distance and the virus. I don't want to get into this debate because it seems to always get political when we talk about the virus and what we need to do as a society, blah, blah, blah. And I don't even want to fight about it. I'm just saying it is possible that Auburn's going to have in-person instruction for the 3rd summer tour. And if they do, that looks really good for Auburn's chances to play some football this fall, right? Some people are really upset about that. And some people are also upset about Camp War Eagle being a move to online only. And there were a lot of people, I don't want to be singling them out too much, but I'm not going to single anybody out. But there were some people that were ragging on OP, who started the thread about Camp War Eagle getting canceled, and he was pissed about it. We're like, who cares? Everybody thinks that thing sucks. Well, let me tell you something, buddy. For some people, Camp War Eagle, first of all, doesn't suck for some people, particularly people that are trying to get into SGA and other positions on campus. It's almost like an interview process for them right there. And there are a certain percentage of kids that are very reticent about getting on campus, on a college campus, and it's a chance for them to kind of, dip their toes in the water a little bit, get a little bit comfortable with the campus with their parents nearby. I mean, you guys laugh about it because we're adults, but I mean, when you're 18, sometimes people are scared about leaving home, okay? I wasn't. You probably weren't, but some people are. So when OP was pissed about them canceling, well, they didn't cancel it, it's online only, changing Camp War Eagle to online only, everybody's like, shut up, nobody cares. But I understand where he's coming from, because if your life's ambition is to send your kid to Auburn, okay, and this is either your first or your last kid, or it doesn't even really matter what number it is. And here it is, man. I'm telling you, this has not happened to me yet because my daughter's still a senior right now in high school. But that moment when you deliver them to campus, right? I think that's going to be a really big deal. It's going to be one of the seminal moments of my life. Honestly, I mean, seriously, think about it. She's going to be leaving home. She's going to be going and starting her own life in her own direction, and I won't be there to tell her yay or nay. She's got to figure that shit out on her own. Big deal. And if your lifetime ambition was to put your kid at Auburn, which I totally support, and I get it, man, and you don't get to have Camp War Eagle, I think that's a kick in the nuts. I'm not criticizing Auburn for not having it, for going online only. It's not that. It's just that I think it's a legitimate concern, and I understand why you're pissed about it. That's it. That's all I wanted to say about that. All right. Ruxpin says when he was 18, he hated Camp War Eagle. All right, I know, man. It's kind of goofy. Although Ravin says, I met people in Camp War Eagle and ended up being friends with them all the way through college. It may have sucked, but it served a purpose. Pocket Watch says Camp War Eagle was created and exists solely for the current SGA administration can put their replacements in place by making them counselors. Now Canoe Man says, let's go to Camp War Eagle next year, Ruxpin. I don't know if they'll let you guys. Yeah, I don't know. Jack C, with some good questions, says, JGT, what's your best guess for A, when the team is back on campus? And B, do you think fans will be in the stands for every game this year? A, I would say July. I think they'll be back on campus. So we're in about midway through April right now. I think we're going to be in this state, Alabama. I think we're going to be locked down to the 15th of May, middle of May. There's talk about Texas going open at the top of May, which if that works for them, then that's great. I don't think we need to in this state, but I'm not an immunologist, nor am I a legislator. So if we're completely locked down in May, June, to sort shit out and get these tests done, get them widely dispersed so that anybody can be tested and that stuff, get all the thermometers so you can scan people's foreheads. I think Auburn could get on campus July. I do. I think there's a chance that Auburn's, not just Auburn, but I think there's a chance that college football is going to go off, that they're going to play the season on a regular schedule. Now, as to your second point, do you think fans will be in the stands for every game this year? Yeah, I'm skeptical about that one. Now, there are some athletic directors that are like, I will not play a game unless there's fans in the stands. And listen, I'm not trying to limit the effect of fans in the stands. Big deal. Huge deal. For the fans and for the players and for the school. There's a lot of money to be made with that. If they don't play at all, they're not going to make shit. If they play the games on the field with no fans, they're still going to lose a lot of revenue, but at least they get the television money going, and that's going to help a little bit. I just don't see how they're going to have a full Jordan-Hare Stadium this year. I just don't know. I don't understand that. Even if you've got testing and all that kind of stuff and good trace reporting and all that, I still think that 87,000 people inside Jordan-Hare Stadium sitting ass to ass, that doesn't make sense to me, and I can't get my head around it. But I could be wrong. And God knows when they're going to come up with a vaccine, because we know that Bill Gates is like personally funding like 7 or 8 vaccine factories that are going to be ready to go as soon as they figure out which one is going to work. And so, I mean, it's going to be distributed in record time. And I don't just mean like by a few days. I mean by months. They're going to break a record. If there's a vaccine to be had, they're going to get it. But I still feel like September is ambitious when it comes to figuring that out. I mean, they're already doing human testing on some of the vaccines, but I don't think you can cut corners with some of that stuff. I would defer to some of our viral experts on that kind of stuff. That would be Power Man and others. I know Power Man's in the chat tonight. Glad to have you here, brother. Jazzy Joe comes through with yet another super chat. Unbelievable. He says, bro, how about a driver from my same company hit my truck with his trailer? No, he didn't. Get me his number. We're going to call him. I about pulled out the iron. I mean the Bible and prayed with him. Or smited his ass. Boom! Got him, Jazzy. Give me his number. We will prank call him. I'll say it's President Trump. And you've been quarantined, bro. You're going to have to go to the south side of Jamaica and sit this one out, brother. And also, no stimulus money for you. We'll go the whole distance with it. I might be better off saying I'm Anthony Fauci. Because I don't really sound like President Trump very much. Nor do I sound like Pence. And I definitely don't sound like Dr. Birx. So, I don't know. Thank you very much, Jazzy Joe. Appreciate your support. Of course, we always appreciate your support. Absolute superstar. Jazzy Joe says, love y'all. Y'all my family. We feel the same way, bro. Powerman says, I'm hardly a viral expert, but I did play on 8chan last night. Well, that makes you an expert right there. Oh, hell yeah, man. Okay. Andrew B says, JG, need to hear your best Trump impression. No, I don't have it, man. I sure do watch him a lot. I watch these press conferences because they entertain me like you wouldn't believe. You know, because I've spent a lot of my professional life being on the other side of that, where I'm asking the questions, not in the presidential situation, but, you know, asking questions of public officials, to me, translates pretty well from politics to sports to whatever else you're doing. When I started out in journalism, I was doing the waterboard and not waterboarding, the Public Services Commission in Winchester, Kentucky for the Winchester Sun. And I mean, we're talking about sewer pipes and shit. And I mean, it's the same concept. Yes, it's a lot harder to ask President Trump questions, but I'm saying it's the same basic deal. And I just love watching the back and forth. It just makes me so happy to watch it. And I laugh. I genuinely enjoy the things that President Trump does during the press conference. And I find it odd sometimes that people take it so seriously. Like they're just like, can you believe that he was mocking Jake Tapper? And I'm like, first things first, we need to understand the relationship, which you probably don't know the answer to. I don't. Do Trump and Jake Tapper, do they get along? Or Jim Acosta, whoever, the CNN guy. They might get along. Like sometimes I remember there's been times where like me and Muschamp, this absolutely happens with me and Kevin Steele, where we kind of get into a conversation and it gets a little adversarial. Now, I love Will Muschamp and he likes me a lot. But there's times when we're talking about shit and he gets mad. Now, Kevin really gets mad at me sometimes. He likes me a lot. I promise you. Kevin Steele likes me a lot. I'm probably not his favorite, but he likes me a lot. And I'll ask him questions and he'll get pissed off sometimes because he gets frustrated that I don't know as much as I should, as much as he thinks I should know about stuff. So if I ask about how he's handling a scrape exchange or how a particular coverage worked against an Alabama play, he gets frustrated with me because I don't understand all the ins and outs of the coverages that he called, which I acknowledge up front. I'm not ever going to be a defensive coordinator. I just want to, as a reporter, I want to have a basic understanding of the strategy, right? I mean, more so than, hey, you put 11 out there, they're pretty good, huh? I mean, I really feel like a lot of reporters just settle for that. They're like, well, Noah's pretty good. I'm like, yeah, well, Noah's really fast. Yeah, okay. No, Noah's good because he's thinking along with the defense. And he understands what his safety is doing, and he understands where his help is, and he understands what his outside linebacker is supposed to be doing. And if somebody screws up, he has the awareness to be able to cut lanes and make up for the mistake. These are things that a lot of times regular reporters, sports reporters, don't see and don't think about. I care. I didn't care for a long time, but I do now. So anyway, me and Kevin get along good, but sometimes if you watch us in a press conference, it seems like it's adversarial, and I think people go, "Oh man, he doesn't like JG." You just don't understand the nature of the relationship. I have a strong suspicion that President Trump and some of the people that he messes with in the press conference, they get along fine. I'm not saying they're best friends, but I think they get along okay. And sometimes you watch a press conference and you just don't understand the relationships between these people, and it cracks me up so much when it's not the bunker, it's other places that I go, and they're just like, President Trump's so mean. Did you hear what he said? And I'm like, he was joking. Like the time, remember like 2 weeks ago when I can't remember. I think Dr. Burke said something, or maybe she coughed or something, and President Trump was like, and I mean, he's kidding. It was funny. I laughed out loud. People were like, can you believe he's making a mockery of this? And I'm like, he's not. He's not. He's just kidding around. Well, he shouldn't be kidding. I'm like, it was a 2.5 hour press conference, and he spent 15 seconds joking about something. Like, come on now. Okay, we're off politics now. Sorry about that, guys. All right, I'm cranking it up. We're turning it on. Oh, come here, buddy. There we go. All right, Skype is live now. Ruxpin, I sure would love for you to be the first person to call in tonight. I feel like we're always better when you kick things off. Brother, man. Looks like we already got a call in tonight. At 5:43, bro, we weren't even on the air yet. Let's see who this is from. Hold on. What is that? That was weird. I can't do that right now. Let's see. Raven says, drink, JG. Hell yeah. All you got to do is say the word, brother, man. I'm on it. Ruxy Poo, let's do this, bro. I need you to kick this thing off. Hudson W says, chances we get one of the 3 basketball recruits. Do you mean at least one of 3 or just one of 3? Because I think one of 3 at minimum is, I'd say that's 98%. Hey, caller, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, JG?
What up, Rux? It's great to have you kicking things off tonight, bro.
I'm good, man. I hope you're well. I want to be short because I want to get all these other guys on the phone, but I think it's going to be a fantastic night for the Brain Drain.
Really? Who are you predicting? Who are you looking forward to here?
I'm looking forward to David the Wizard. I'm looking forward to getting Harvey Specter on. Hopefully, hopefully some of my Pearl boys get on. Hopefully, Doc Dumpster gets on, and Jeffrey Lee better be on. We need to hear about these.
Jeffrey Lee's going to be on, no doubt.
We need these recruiting nuggets. But JJ, I just want to say I love you. Love everything you do. Jay Lee, love you, B Matt, and Nate King. Keep doing your thing.
All right, Rux, you be good, brother. He gone. Ruxy Poo kicking things off for us. He's the right guy to kick it off, I think. Didn't seem particularly lit tonight. Anyway, Raven, this is for you, brother. And also, J-Rob, we're drinking to the class of 2020. And this is to Torqued also. Torqued. Brother. All right. Here's what we're going to do now. Now that we've got Ruxy Poo out of the way, because we love starting with Ruxy Poo, we're going to get David the Wizard on the horn. All right. David, I'm calling you, brother. Vance, you're going to have to hold on, brother. I got your number.
Yo, JGT.
What up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good, dog. How you doing, my dude?
Well, I'm just kicking it, and I'm really fired up that you have decided to be part of the show tonight because we've been wanting to talk to you.
Oh yeah, then boy. Yeah, I'm glad to get up in this motherfucker too.
Are you drinking tonight, brother?
Oh yeah, of course. You know that.
What are you drinking?
I told you, man. I'm drinking them Corona seltzers. It's seasonal.
Oh, come on. You're not really drinking that, are you?
No, of course I am, bro. Cracking and crushing them.
Yo, why? Can we get to the bottom of this wireless damage engineer? You said he was chasing your ass around the site, right?
Yeah, dude sucks. how vulgar am I allowed to be on this on this?
Pretty much as vulgar as you need to be. I don't know, to describe him and what he's done to you.
Yeah, he's a bitch. He's all up in my, like, I don't know what this dude's problem is. Like, he will. I mean, it was a good period of time. Like, anytime I would post anything, this bitch would be like, he would just talk trash, like, nonstop. He'd, like, reply to every comment I said, and just, like, literally at least, like, 95% plus of the stuff I would go on there and post. And he would just talk trash. I remember, like, I posted about how I, like, lost a bunch of weight, and homeboy came up in there talking, like, oh, dude, he's going to, like, gain it all back in, like, 3 months. I was like, what the fuck your problem, dude? I'm talking trash to him, and he come back with some bull. Like, I genuinely don't know what this dude's deal is. Like, I wish there's just, it's like one of them things where, like, there's, like, so many examples of it, you don't remember specifics, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you just, like, yeah, it's like this dude's just up in my case, and I'm like, what is his problem, man?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes there are people who cheer for you to relapse and just, I don't understand that. That pisses me off. It really does. It makes me angry.
Yeah, he's up on that crash. Yeah, he's up on that hardcore talking about, like, oh, dude, you on the meth. Oh, dude, you smoking pot. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, fuck you.
He's probably just taking it a little too seriously, David. I do want to ask you also about some of the ladies. I know you're a big hit with the ladies, obviously. And it seemed like the last girl you got involved with, it didn't end as well maybe as you had hoped.
Nah, man, that was that was not fun.
You had to scrub off or whatever. I mean, I don't, what did she leave you with?
Oh man, that's that classified info, man. I got two of them STDs, dog. It was not fun. I'm talking illegit. Right, actually, it could have been a lot. It was not as bad as I expected it to be. I'm cured now. I'm good.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, dude. But I definitely had urethritis. If you wanna, if you know what, it's like one of the. That's what it is when it makes you make it burn when you pee.
Oh,
that one. Yeah, it sucked, man.
Well, I think you showed a picture of her. She was a very pretty girl, though, right?
Yeah, she's fine as hell. She's crazy. She's clearly crazy,
Well,
but yeah, she was fine, dude.
The hot ones tend to be crazy, right?
I'll do what?
The really hot girls tend to be at least somewhat crazy, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. More often than not. More so, definitely a disproportionate number of them.
Obviously, Wireless Damage Engineer is one you don't like. Are there some guys you feel like are your homies, guys that have your back on the site, guys you like to read?
mean, like most of the board, dude. Most of the board. I mean, shit. All them dudes. I mean, for real. I mean, I ain't got a problem with really anybody else other than that dude. I mean, I don't think there's anybody else that's ever like a hostile dickhead like that guy. So I mean, pretty much everybody else is nothing but love.
I didn't understand why you had to start a thread to just shit on Wireless Damn Engineer, though. I mean, I know you don't like him, and I know he's been a dick, but
Because he sucks. I want him to know. I want him to know I'm coming for his lady.
I don't think you're going to get that information, or did you?
No, I did. It's been done.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, you know what's up.
We may have to get him on the horn and see, what's happened if he's been checking his girl.
Yeah. What his lunch lady looking ass wife.
How you been handling quarantine, David? What have you been doing? Staying at home, being responsible?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I already work from home anyway. So, I mean, it's just been inside all day, chilling with my dog. When I mean my dog, I mean my canine, no slang.
Yeah.
I've been, pretty much, man, chilling. I got Hulu. I'm watching some new shows.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
You got that show, the Reese Witherspoon
what?
show is on there, right?
What you talking about?
Lots of Little Fires or something like that. It's a series
that
she's hot as hell, man. She's super fine.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, yeah, you know I'm right, too. Tell us a little bit about like how you came to be an Auburn fan. Have you kind of been an Auburn fan your whole life, or how did that come about?
Yeah, whole life, man, whole life. I got the family ties and all that. I got a bunch of family that's actually pretty. I guess I don't want to say who because I don't want anybody like knowing exactly like who I am and stuff like. I mean that's just a little thing, but it's interesting. My grandfather actually got the Lifetime Achievement Award from Auburn.
Damn.
And
you don't want to say what it's for though. You're trying to. I understand.
Yeah. But also I had my uncle played basketball there. My
Chris Porter?
One of my cousins. Yeah, back in the day. Way back in the day. But what's it called? Yeah, like I had a cousin who was on the equestrian team there when recently-ish, I think. I think they won the national championship. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, they've won a few.
They won.
They're good.
Oh yeah, they got
super good.
But I got family ties. You know what I mean? I've just always been a big Auburn fan.
Do you go to the games, or you just kind of watch them on TV and living and dying that way?
I go to the games. Not as much in the last few years. But yeah, I went to like every home game in 2010. I went to a lot of them in 2013 too. I went to a lot of them. I haven't been as much in the last couple of years, but I go to the games. I go to the games.
Are you tired of Gus? Do you think Gus can get this done or not?
Man, all right. So I think Gus. First of all, it's like a little bit unfair because, like, imagine if you had like a conference where the coaches were like just straight up. There was like Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Dabo Swinney, whatever, like Bear. Just like you get the point. Like a bunch of coaches that are legit.
Yeah.
Like somebody's got to finish 6-6. You know what I mean? Like that's just like you can't. Not every single one is going to be like a 10-11 win team. So right off the bat, the SEC, it's not just the players. Like the coaching, like roster is stacked. You know what I'm saying? So like, and like if you look at like the recruiting rankings, like every year, like Auburn finishes like top 10 or like just barely outside of top 10, but we're like 5th or 6th in the SEC. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's not like he's not a bad coach. Like he's just not as good as necessarily as some of these other dudes. So it's like it's a little bit unfair to be like, this dude sucks and blah blah blah. But there are definitely some things that I get super frustrated like everybody else. You know what I mean? I think Gus's main strengths are his recruiting. He gets players in shape, and I think players like him. I think that he does a good job with hiring coaching staff around him. I think so definitely. I am huge on analytics side of football, and Gus definitely does not. Actually, as a matter of fact, have you ever spoken to him, or has anyone ever spoken to him, or has he ever spoken about like analytics and like studies that have been done on like the game and like I know Pro Football Focus partners with the whole Yahoo Sports Rival thing. Like, this dude, like, does he have any clue when it comes to that shit? Because it's not like a lot of people don't fully understand like how like analytics and statistics work. Like, it's not just like, oh, I think that this is blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, this is like science. It's proven. This is how it is.
I have not had that conversation with him myself, but I have a sneaky suspicion that he's just kind of going off his noggin. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, there's 100% chance that he doesn't follow that stuff at all. I mean, he doesn't. But and that's the most frustrating part, is that he continues to do things that are just like, why are you doing this, dude?
Hey,
like, there's no logical.
Do you know what it means to be a swoogan? Do you know what that phrase means? Because I don't.
No, dude. No, yes, exactly. They were calling me that like all day the other day. It was like I called that like at least 15, 20 times, and I was like, what does that mean? And like you, I tried to Google it, and I could not figure. I just, there was nothing on there. Like, I was like, what the hell does this mean? I even put it in like quotes. You know what I mean? Like when you try to like exactly search that word, nothing. It was like stuff from like other languages, like Japanese and stuff.
That's BS.
I don't. Yeah, dude. I'm like, what is this?
They're
like, why you keep calling me that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure they were playing.
Alpha Tiger's on here right now saying David the Wizard is a swoogan. So I don't even know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that dude. No cool, Leo.
Well, David, it's been awesome having you on the show, bro. You're a hilarious poster, and just I'm glad to have you around, brother.
I appreciate it, big dog. You that man.
All right, you be good. All right.
All right, man. You too.
See ya. David the Wizard, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, one that he always comes in. He's coming in hot. You know what I mean? If he's on the board, he's coming in hot. And yeah, glad to have him on the show. I think he got to the bottom of the beef with Wireless Dam Engineer. I think he just, in his own words, he says that he's a bitch. I mean, it's hard to argue with that. That's his opinion. You know, I don't necessarily see Wireless Engineer that way, but you know. He doesn't chase me around the board calling me a bitch all the time, you know? So maybe he's right. Ruxpin's getting a kick out of this swoogan thing. I think you guys are playing a joke. I really do. Kyle W. Crocodile wants to know what's a swoogan, and nobody will ever give me an answer. There was this dude back in when I went to – I mentioned earlier about summer camp. There was this dude named Chris H. that we used to kind of be like a dude that hung out with us at camp that we didn't necessarily like that much, but he was still hanging around. And we decided he would pick up on everything we said and use it. He would parrot it all the time. So we came up with this concept. We would call things Sasquatch. We would say, oh, dude, that's so Sasquatch. And it makes no sense, but we just wanted to see if he would pick it up, and he did. He started calling shit Sasquatch, and I think that's what you guys are doing with this swoogan, man. I think you guys are just making shit up. Hornatius says, swoogan is not pronounced with a hard GJ, so it's swoogin. Swoogin. David the Wizard says, let's see. Says, y'all got to explain it or chill real. Real shit. I don't know what they mean either, David. Seriously, I wasn't joking. Let's see. Ed D, getting back on target there, says, with Chad Morris, we will see more throwing inside the numbers and targets to the tight end. Oh, it's a question. Yes, there's no doubt. He's putting so much effort onto identifying good tight ends. They signed a really good one in Brandon Frazier last year, one of the best in Texas. Yeah, I think they're going to be throwing inside the numbers, and I do think they're going to be emphasizing the tight end. I don't know if they're going to go full bore the way they were at Arkansas, because I am skeptical about – I don't know how much value Gus sees in a tight end, but the fact that Chad sees value there means there's going to be some accentuation of that. I just don't know if they're going to go all in. But, shit, at this point, I mean, you know, if a tight end gets more than about 10 catches, it's like, whoa. See, Crocodile says, you guys go again, saying the Wizard is a swoogin, I'm pretty sure. Hey, Taxman's in my boat. He says, I tried to look it up the other day and nothing. Yeah, I couldn't find anything either. We've got Boise. I'm sorry. Bo is great in the house. Says Bo knows swoogin. Let's see. Canoe Man says, to be fair, Vance me, he is taking it very easy right now because there are no ventilators available. Uh-oh. All right, so Vance, we're going to have to get to the bottom of this. If it's Vance me or Vanceem, I'm a little bit hurt that B-Matt couldn't join the Nanner Puddin' thread. Was there a Nanner Puddin' thread and he didn't get involved? Is that true? B-Matt loves him some Nanner Puddin'. You guys know that. He's living that nanner pudding life. I would be disappointed too. Vanceme, I'm fixing to call you, bro. So let's get this thing going. I won't go into the details on his number, but he's in the 404. I have to get some of these other folks on. We had Jay Bell on, I think for the Iron Bowl. No, it might have been the Georgia game. Or it might have been the Iron Bowl. I can't remember. That was awesome to get her on. All right, here we go. We're going to get Vance Me on the horn right now and see what happens. Georgia Rebel says the more JG drinks, the better this gets. You guys are part of the problem, okay? You guys are enablers. What is that sound?
I'm here.
Hey, it's JG. What up?
It's Jay Bell on.
You gotta hit mute on that, bro. I don't want to hear all that.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
That was
That's good.
You're muted.
What's up, bro? How you been?
Good, and yourself?
I'm fighting the power one more day. Do you go by Vance Me or Vanceme?
So actually, it's Vance M.E.
Vance M.E.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad to know that. I've always called you Vanceme. I don't know why. Just look that way to me. Okay, let's talk.
I could see it, right?
Who? First of all, I'm gonna have another drink because Georgia Rebel says that I'm better when I'm drunk.
No, you know what? You're drinking the cheap stuff, man. You should be drinking it all.
This is not cheap. Elijah Craig is quality stuff. We were talking to David the Wizard earlier.
Nah.
We were talking to David the Wizard earlier about his beef with Wireless Damn Engineer. Who do you have a beef with?
You know, I don't know that I have a beef with anybody. I think it's pretty funny, right? People, you post stuff, whether it's your emotions or some funny shit you come up with, but at the end of the day, everybody has something funny to say back, and that's kind of the fun of the bunker, right? At the end of the day, that's the funny part.
Hell
that's
yeah.
what you're going for.
And also, you got to give me a refresher. I gave you a title years ago that maskers ain't my bag. You got to tell me how we got on that.
All right, so this is an easy one to deal with. So back in the day, you were getting mad at everybody for posting stuff about, cars could run into people and it would kill people. And it was just back when, the first, I don't know how it even came together, the masker side of life. I think those have been going on for a while. But you were like, you put something out there one day and you were like, look, if anybody else posts anything at all about maskers, I'm going to ban you. And all of a sudden, I posted something, and it was like, probably 6 a.m. your time. But I had just woken up, and I was like, look, another car ran into people. And you immediately tagged me with that one. It was early in the morning. I was like, wow, that was fast.
Oh, and then I gave you the title, huh?
Yeah, it's all good. That was a long time ago, man. It's all good.
It sure was, man. It was a long time ago. So what's been going on? How are you doing with this quarantine and having to stay at home and all that?
Oh my gosh! You know what? We are quarantined here. I got I don't know, $30,000 in wine and $5,000 in rum and bourbon. So I think I'm set on the alcohol side in life.
Damn.
Got a pool, got a wife, got a heater on the pool. We're hanging out and having a good time. But I got to tell you, the worst part about this is you can't see anybody, man. You just got to lean over the fence and say, "What's up, brother?" It's rough.
I live in a small village called Montgomery, Alabama, and my friends live like 2 or 3 miles away, and I still can't go see them. It's kind of a bummer.
It's rough. It's rough, but I think we'll all get through this one. The hardest part for me, and I know you and I share this one, is without a doubt, it's all the stuff that we've lost, right? And what's funny to me is, everybody's suffering in a different way. Some people are having to deal with the fact that they got a third grader and their third grade teacher is still trying to give them homework. Other people have lost weddings. It just goes across the spectrum, and everybody's got something different going on for sure.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a bummer, isn't it? I don't want to bring this show down, though, bro. Yeah.
Oh.
Your thoughts on David the Wizard? Do you think he's a bitch?
No, bringing it down.
You think he's a bitch, or you think
No, bringing the Now this one's a little weird for me. So David the Wizard is definitely a weird dude. He posts some of the strangest stuff I've ever seen on the bunker. but Wireless Engineer 85, who I believe he was talking about, is not Wireless Engineer 85's original name. And I've been trying to place that. Now, the new Wireless Engineer actually seems to be a fairly nice guy. I'm pretty sure I know who he was originally, and that was not a nice guy in the bunker. So it's a little hard, right, when you know the history.
Oh, okay. So I'm getting it mixed up. You're saying Wireless Engineer 85 is not the same as Wireless Dam Engineer?
Oh, did I mix up what David was going after?
Yeah,
I might have.
I might have too. It's confusing sometimes. We got a lot of folks on the board, you know.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
You know what? It's the board, and I got to admit, everybody on there is fun. I'm never upset. I might pick a little back here and forth there. You know, that's my thing. I'm not afraid to have a good time too with everybody, but you know what? I think everybody has a good time out there, and we definitely push back and forth on each other. It's part of the bunker.
Hornatius says we need to get pic. You mentioned your wife earlier, that he would like to see pics of your wife, or you are lying. I don't really know what you're lying about.
No. I am married, and I have shared my wife with Hornatius. He knows this.
Oh.
So he should share his pics of both of us with her.
Oh,
I think that's
goodness.
how that one works.
Wow. Are you actually friends with him in real life?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Hornatius and I know each other. And you know what? I got to admit, he's a little smaller than me. So probably he's got some issues. It's cool. It's all right in the end, but, you know.
He's not short, though. He's just very thin, right?
No, I was talking about, you know, when we're sharing our women, he's kind of small. The women don't really like that sometimes.
Oh, damn, Hornatius. You just got outed, brother. And I don't want to see pics of that, by the way. All right.
Well, Hornatius was the one asking for pics. So.
Fair enough. Hey, do you think you're going to be playing football this fall? What do you think about this?
Ooh, you know what? I put in my money for tickets, and I think they're going to give it back to me. I don't think we're going to play. I think they're going to be so scared to play this year. They're going to do some kind of a weird, only so many people in the stadium thing.
Yeah, I could see that. But as long as they're playing football, that's a step in the right direction, you know.
For sure. You know, I've got kids that play lacrosse, and they're supposed to be starting lacrosse here for the summer session in June. And we're already getting stuff in saying they're going to play in July. It's crazy out there right now.
And you're in the greater Birmingham area, right?
I'm in Atlanta. I live over here where Miles Murphy lives.
Oh, word. He's a good kid. I like him a lot.
Miles is awesome.
I'm not sure he picked the right
I feel
school.
bad for him, and for sure, right? I mean, he graduated early to go and play for Clemson, and he's back home.
Oh, dang. Yeah. It happens sometimes. It's how it's been for these kids, you know. This virus has messed up a bunch of plans, you know.
For sure. But we're talking about the good stuff here, right?
Hell yes.
So what is your favorite bourbon, Jay? As long as we're gonna talk, let's get this thing going, right? I mean, you drink all this cheap stuff all the time. I'm just curious, you know, which one is your actual favorite?
Joseph A. Magnus, Silver Label is my all-time favorite. It costs about, I'm not trying to lamp here, but it does cost a little bit more than my normal. It's about $100 a bottle, but it is absolutely delicious. I have a half a bottle to go, and then I have another full one behind that one. But I only use it on special occasions, Vance. You know me. I like to drink the cheap stuff.
Oh, yeah, you do. I agree. So my favorite bourbon is actually Heaven's Door. It's a bourbon whiskey out of Tennessee.
That's the Bob Dylan one, right?
Incredible. $50 a bottle. That stuff is excellent.
That's made by Bob Dylan. Is that right?
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Yes, I believe he's involved in that. And I have not had it. I've seen it, and I know it's a premium bourbon product. But I don't know. I need to drink that. You say it's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, for the money, it's the best. And I've got a lot of good ones up there. But and we've drank a lot of expensive ones too. But that's for the money. That's really the best.
Vance, it's been great having you on the show, brother. Vance M.E. We will say it that way from now on.
Absolutely, man. It's good to finally make it in. I mean, I've talked to your hot secretary so many times, I don't even know what to do. She's fine. If you could actually post some pictures or maybe some commentary with her, we would all appreciate it.
I would. I think I can make that happen, Vance. I appreciate you calling in. And I'm sorry I haven't gotten you on the air before this.
It's been fun.
All right, bro.
Thanks for everything you guys do. You guys are awesome, man. This has been fun. Thank you.
Thanks for sticking with the site, Vance. We'll see you, bro. All right, here you go. Vance M.E. I know better. We've got a bunch of super chats to catch up on here because I've been on the horn. Love the Cats just got absolutely facialed by Vance there. So yeah. I think I know where we're coming from with you. Although he did super chat us and said top off and finish your drink. I think I drank one in the interim, but I can do it again, no problem. Ruck says, ask Alpha Tiger about origin of Swoogin. It was pronounced right the first time, JG. What? So now you guys are telling me it's a hard G, Swoogin. Jazzy Joe with another super chat. Oh, my goodness. You have been incredibly gracious tonight, Jazzy Joe. Thank you very much. Said, I am about to get back on the road. I'll be in Mobile from the 20th to the 27th for my birthday. It's going down. Appreciate all y'all. Jazzy Joe, you're one of the Hall of Famers, dude, on this chat, and we appreciate you very much. Also glad to see you in the bunker some, too, with that sweet-ass ride of yours. I'm sorry that some jerk decided to hit your truck or whatever. If you want to give us names, we'll be happy to mock this person publicly. We're still catching up with some stuff I said earlier. AU Taxman says Jay Bell, decent player for the Bucks back in the day. Jabell from the bunker, who has she has Goldie Hawn from Wildcats as her avatar. That is actually a gal, and it cracks me up because, first of all, she's been on the freaking show, guys, and she's very much a girl, and she's a girl. And then people, like, when she'll say stuff, they'll be like, yo, man, or hey, dude, or I'm like, it's a girl, dude. It's a girl. But if you guys aren't paying attention, then you're the dummy, I guess. Let's see. Spread Attack U18 says, at Ruxpin, are you spending that stimulus money? To which Ruxpin says, TP money, bro. My neighborhood bar here. Oh, we got a call coming in. Remind me to tell you the TP story. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Hello, Jay. How are you?
Is this Power Man?
It's Power Man.
Yeah, I got it right this time. I always say it's Fig Jam, but I knew better this time.
No.
What up, Power Man? How you doing? You're our resident virologist.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. But I do play on 8chan, so but that's all I got. That's all I got.
You've been active in the virus commentary this week. Am I right?
Yeah, I was going to apologize to you because I had a thread. You moved a thread of mine, my Triple D thread today. You got it moved, and I apologize. I really think it was because Fig Jam was in there stirring up stuff. But I do apologize because it was moved. But yes, it was. I do apologize for that.
I don't think you did that. I think it was subsequent posters that had turned it just very political, and I thought it needed to go somewhere else.
Yeah. No, I saw it, and I noticed it, and I got out of it. So yeah, it's an interesting time to be alive, and it's nuts. So with the Ryan Russell stuff, like I know, like Doc and I have been talking, and we're trying to get Britt some weights and all that kind of stuff. But like, how many others don't have weights at all? Do you know?
Well, he said that approximately 70% of his kids didn't have access to a weight room. I mean,
that's crazy.
I know. Didn't that seem high to you?
Yes. I was expecting something less than that.
Me too.
That's just nuts. It's just nuts.
And to hear KJ talking about, I'm out on my lawn with me and my little bro and a Bluetooth, and I'm just doing, body weight exercises, and I was like, shit, it's going to take a while for these kids to get back going,
Look, yeah. Body weight's good for 40-year-olds like me. Body weight's not good for middle linebackers in the SEC.
I know. But everybody's having to fight this battle, too. I mean, it ain't like, Kentucky's kids are all, have home gyms or anything.
No, you're exactly right. Except Alabama has watches, and Alabama's probably got them access to high school gyms and all that kind of stuff. They're figuring something out.
Well, they do. I want to give Alabama some credit. We like to joke about the REC, but they do have some things figured out. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they got it figured out. Their guys are not doing body weight exercises right now. I don't think. Well, I think their guys are throwing iron around. That's what I think.
Yeah, you would think so. I don't know. But I don't know. You know, I remember Rocky IV. Remember that when Rocky was out running in the snow and he was getting ready to beat Drago's ass? I mean, he didn't need a bunch of weights.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. He had what he needed, which was just the environment. So maybe our guys are they can figure out that same ingenuity, but I don't know. It's a mess. It is an absolute mess.
Hey, Alpha Tiger was in the chat here, Power Man. Says, kudos to Power Man for posting pic of wife earlier. Not bad at all. He says your wife is not bad at all.
Yeah, I put a picture out there. She was cutting the kid's hair, and we put a bowl on Power Man Jr.'s head so we could make sure he got a good haircut.
That's a really nice compliment to say your wife is, quote, not bad.
Yeah. Well, I know Alpha Tiger. He and I watched the Georgia Tech Auburn regional game together. So that's where we met the first time. So he can say whatever he wants to say.
Okay. Very good. Listen, as far as football this year, do you think we're going to be on schedule like we should, like normal, playing football in September?
I think it's going to be super interesting in the sense that, and I was talking to folks that know that I think that we're going to have a situation where the SEC is looking at playing an SEC schedule against each other, and then they're not going to the SEC is not going to kowtow to what California or the Big 12 or the Big 10 or the Pac-12 says. So I think that we're going to I think there's a chance that we have a situation where the SEC plays its schedule against each other and potentially has buys on the off weeks when they have out of conference schedule.
I could see that. My friend John Clay, who writes for the Lexington Herald Leader, asked a bunch of sports writers, including yours truly, about what they thought was going to happen. I said they were going to start the season on October 1st with an abbreviated schedule. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the chance of playing is the SEC schedule without fans in the stands.
That's what I think is going to happen too, and there's going to be a lot of revenue loss there, Power Man. I mean, Auburn gets a lot of money from these home games now. Everybody does.
Oh man. You think about whoever play. I don't know who plays in the Arlington game this year, and does Alabama play SC? I don't know who plays those games, but those out of conference games, the first week of the year, that's huge money. And when there's going to be a reckoning when it comes to revenue for Power 5 schools and also non-Power 5 schools if there's not a football season. It is going to be chaos.
There's going to be a football season. I mean, I just feel like there's going to be, because I feel like we're already making progress, Power Man. Now, you and I are on the same side of this virus debate, okay? Well, let's make that clear right now. Both of us are showing a lot of respect for the fact that the virus is killing people, and it's something worth taking seriously.
Yep.
But is it the end of the world? No, it's not. And it's killing fewer people than maybe we were told that it would, right?
Yeah, I just think that Americans took risks to the Native Americans took risks to settle the country. The Europeans took risks when they came over. This isn't something that stops what we do. It's just not.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I gotta believe that we're playing football and we're enjoying the game and enjoying what we do and being real careful about it when we go, in the next couple.
Yeah.
I think we get open the next couple of weeks, and then in a month or two, we get real open. That we open up for real.
I'm still very skeptical about 87,000 or 89,000 or whatever in Jordan Hare Stadium, though.
I agree, but it's going to be super interesting to see because nobody's ever caught pneumonia in Alabama in July. So if this thing disappears in July, do people forget about it come August and September and November? And I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, these are crazy times, man.
I think you're right. I don't think that we're going to have 87,000 in Jordan Hare, but I don't know. I'm just hopeful. I can't imagine a year without sports.
Yeah,
that would be a weird thing.
You're talking to a man who runs a website dedicated to Auburn sports. We really need sports to keep it going.
And I'm calling you because I support you, because I understand it.
It's appreciated very much, Powerman. You're one of the all-time greats. Of course, everybody knows you.
Well, I appreciate it. All right, buddy. Well, we'll talk to you after a while.
All right, Powerman. See you, bro.
See you, man. Bye.
As I was saying before, I want to make sure I get caught up on these super chats because we got some great ones. As I mentioned, Hornatius, Ruxpin, thank you again for your incredible generosity. Same for Jazzy Joe. I think had 3 tonight. Same for Ruxpin. Spread Attack U18 comes through. Appreciate you. This is for all my boys that can't highlight guys in orange. That's good stuff there. And Fat Crack, whose father has been sick lately and asked for prayers. Obviously, a bunch of us have lifted prayers for your dad. Fat Crack says, love you all. Thank you so much for all the prayers and support for my dad. I am believing with you that he will come through this and be better. Thank you, or Damn Eagle. Yeah, definitely with you, Fat Crack. I had some stuff go down in my family years ago, and the bunker, the support that I got in the bunker, both on the bunker and off the bunker, was just unbelievable. And honestly played a pretty significant role in me being able to get through that in one piece. So we like to joke, we've talked on the show today about, the beef between David the Wizard and Wireless Dam, our wireless engineer. And, sometimes the bunker does get a little adversarial and nasty, but the bunker's got a very caring side to it as well. We have seen that most notably and most obviously when Dee Dee got sick and passed away years ago. For those of you who are new to the site, D. Trudeau is an absolute first ballot Hall of Famer at auburnsports.com and was a great poster. A gal by the name of Dee Dee, and she got cancer. She was great at. She always had a way of disarming arguments with a meme, often with cats, sometimes with dogs, but mostly with cats. And she was great at when people would start a thread and get really mad at each other. She would always find a way to diffuse it. Very, very good at that. Very tricky. And she'd just slide one in there and make everybody laugh, and it would just kind of ease the tension a little bit. She is definitely missed. She passed away after fighting, I believe it was brain cancer. It's probably been 3 years now. And the support that the bunker showed, both through prayer and calling on her, asking her, and then financially as well, because she got some treatments, some really aggressive treatments at Duke and at MD Anderson in Houston. The bunker got very involved in that and really opened my eyes to that at the time. At the time. I'll just leave it at that. A lot of people are incredibly generous on the bunker, and it, in Fat Crack's case, it's just praying. It's just praying. For other things, it gets a little more involved, and the bunker never fails. Also, Call Me Biscuit had another one coming through. Says, thank you, Powerman, FDM8, and Stump. You are always so logical. Yes, we've gotten into some virus debates on the bunker. It's often DM8 and Stump on one side. I don't want to rag on them because they see things in a way that's different than me. Doesn't mean they're wrong. Doesn't mean I need to poop on them. But they tend to think that things are going to be really bad. I don't think they're cheering for that. I don't think they want people to die. I just think they happen to believe that it's going to be bad. I told you guys, 3 or 4 weeks ago that I'm expecting a miracle. We haven't had a miracle yet, but there's been some good things happening when it comes to this virus situation. The lethality of the virus, I think, is not as bad as we thought it would be initially. We still have plus or minus 2,000 Americans dying per day, and it's a sad thing, and it sucks, and nobody wants that to happen, and everybody wants that number to drop, and that's why we're doing the right things, staying at home, being smart about being in contact with people, washing our hands, keeping distance, all that kind of stuff. But I am hopeful that things are going to be not as bad as we thought they would be, and Power Man's been one of the guys, and I'm trying to be fair here because I'm on Power Man's side in this dispute, but I want to be fair about it. Power Man's kind of said, hey guys, this doesn't look particularly bad. Not that he's limiting the deaths or anything like that or saying that it's fake. He never said that, but just, hey man, maybe this is not going to be the worst thing that's ever happened to our country. Maybe we'll be able to kind of mitigate this as best we can. And it sucks that that we're losing people every day, but it's not going to be the end of the world, and we need to kind of get back going as soon as we can. Anyway, we get back and forth. Obviously, Biscuit is a Power Man sympathist on that particular, or I should say, Power Man supporter on that particular dispute. I don't want to give DM8 and Stump too much trouble again. It's a position that I don't necessarily agree with myself, but I don't want to just shit on people who disagree with me. They're not bad folks. DM8 is, they're good folks. Canoe Man says, will the basketball seniors get another year? I mean, officially, yes, but it's kind of a tricky deal. I think a lot of them want to go and play professionally and start making money, which I totally support. And then there's also some pressure, I know, on the baseball side, those guys are in the same position that the basketball guys are. I'm not sure that some of the senior baseball players, I'm not talking about Auburn, I'm just talking about in the country, are welcome back because it creates, even though the NCAA says it's okay for them to come back, it creates and even if they change the rules on how many kids you can have on scholarship, it's still expensive. You know what I mean? Now, baseball is a weird sport where the kids rarely get a full scholarship. They kind of piece and parse those up because I'm just talking off the top of my head. I think baseball gets like 15 or 18 scholarships for the whole team. I can't remember the number exactly. I had this conversation with Pulowski so many times, and it's been a while. But they split them up. Maybe a kid will get a third of a scholarship or a half a scholarship or 60% of a scholarship, and they dice it up that way. I don't, if Auburn gives away, and I'm just saying, let's say it's 18, they can't then, give out 22 scholarships. I mean, it just takes it off course all of a sudden. Now Alan Green has got less money coming in, and now you're telling me he's got to fund another 5 baseball scholarships and 3 more basketball scholarships. The money doesn't make sense. So I don't know what's going to happen on that. But I think in the basketball situation, I think those guys, if they do have an opportunity to go play professionally, I think they want to do that. Let's see. Power Man says, Little Power Man was listening on the iPad. Ms. Power Man just asked if Fig Jam was on the Collins show. I'm glad I'm not the only one who gets you two mixed up just with voices. And what's interesting is I think I've only met Power Man once in person. I've met Fig Jam, or I've hung out with Fig Jam probably 4 times in person. But you guys sound the same to me. Let's see what else we got. Georgia Rebel, one of our friends from the rebelgroves.com, says, JG, let's get G-Pits more than once a week while the Rona has us bunkered. I am not against that, at least in theory. I can always talk with Neil. The problem with talking with Neil, I feel like on G-Pits, he kind of wants me to be the dancing monkey, and I think he would rather just kind of be the straight guy. It's kind of how G-Pits works, and I don't know. I don't know if I have enough to be the dancing monkey twice a week, but I want to be there for you guys. And Georgia Rebel, you have been very supportive of G-Pits the whole way through. So we'll talk. We'll have a conversation with him about that. Maybe we can just change it up. Maybe our midweek shows could be a little bit different. But we are back with Cathead one way or another. I've got the Old Soul here. I drank it last week, and I always, of course, drink it on the G-Pit show. I think this is a delicious bourbon. I have already cashed out half a bottle on 2 shows. Surprised by how good it is because it's only 3 years old. I knew when I visited Cathead last time, which is 2 years ago, they had just gotten started their bourbon effort, and I knew they were going to try to go to market as soon as they could. I mean, you got to try to monetize it. So it's a 3-year-old bourbon, which is not super old by any stretch, but it's good, man. And I think the name Old Soul is really clever. I don't know. I'm just cheering for those guys. We got another super chat coming through from Honacious. Says, in general, life works out, JGT. Well, look at you. Aren't you the Buddha now? You're the Zen master, giving us sage advice to keep us level and calm in these days of turmoil. Thank you, Hornatius. You're the man. Stu Pup jumps in again. I appreciate your incredible generosity, Stu Pup. Always here for us. So these brain drains have been a big help for me during this whole virus ordeal. Thanks for keeping them going. Are you kidding? Of course, man. I feel bad sometimes because I said we were going to do these twice a week, and we do them on the weekends. It's kind of turned into a once a week thing, but I mean, I love you guys, and I mean, I just don't know. So I tell my wife will be like, "Hey, do you want to do a show?" And I'm like, "I don't know what to talk about." And then for this show, like, same thing, and then we always find something to talk about. So yeah, Ruxpin says we're all going to die. Ruxpin, you're actually technically right, but I don't necessarily think we're going to die today. Powerman says, DM8, they are good folks. Amazing, Jay. I don't know if you're mocking me there. I'm just trying to say, like, just because I don't agree with them, DM8 more so than, because Stump sometimes, I feel like he gets the boxing gloves out and wants to take swipes at people. DM8 to me seems just kind of like more, in his mind, he's just being defensive, like instead of trying to attack people. But they both seem to think it's going to be a lot worse than I think it is, that you think it is. I don't know. I'm in a weird spot. My dad was a physician, and he has no opinion on this virus thing because he was a radiologist, has nothing to do with that. But, he was an expert on x-rays. Like, I would not, when he reads an MRI or an upper GI, like, he knows what he's doing, Tony Fauci tells me we need 2 more weeks. I mean, I want to take heed to what he's saying. At the same time, Tony Fauci is not an economic genius. He's an immunologist. He's a genius when it comes to this kind of stuff. And Dr. Birx is a physician turned immunologist, certainly somebody whose opinion I respect when it comes to virus and stuff, but there's more to this than the virus. There is the whole question of, when does this country need to open? When do we need to get back out there? When does the damage that we're doing from a financial perspective of shutting down the economy outweigh the potential, cost of spreading the virus more than we have been? We've done a good job, I think, as a country. I think we're at a point now, and Dr. Birx said this yesterday, that we're kind of plateauing. It's not acceptable to me that we're losing 2,000 to 2,200 people per day. That's a lot, and it makes me sad. One of those 2,200 4 days ago was one of my fraternity brother's dad. He died in Jacksonville. He had gotten the COVID, and the story is unbelievably sad. I mean, he was an older fella, obviously, and he got it, and he was alone, and you know how these things go, and we need to get this down. We need to get the numbers down. But at the same time, it's like, it's tough, man. We all have friends that have been, my wife's been laid off, We've all got friends and folks, probably family, that have been affected by this. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. And it puts a lot of pressure on President Trump to make a good decision about when do we open and when do we not. I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to do that job. Ruxpin, very optimistically said we flatten the F out of this. We flatten the F out of this curve. Yeah. I just don't want you guys to think that I don't care. That, like, hey, man, there's 2,000 people dying per day. I'm not enthusiastic about that at all. And I have friends. Actually, my friend that lives in New York City just recently bounced, and he's now in Miami, and he's going to stay in Miami, at least for now. I mean, I think he moved out, he and his partner, and they're in Miami now. But, New York and New Jersey, it's a mess, man. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I got on a rant there. It just so happens that I back up Power Man, a lot of the things he was saying, and I have changed a little bit. In the very beginning, I was very concerned. I wasn't necessarily DM8 concerned, but that far out, but I was pretty concerned, and I switched a little bit. because, it affects me. It affects me. And there's, what do we know, 6 or 7 million people on unemployment right now, and there probably will be more. And my wife's one of them. All right, let's see. I'm sorry, guys. I got way behind on this. My apologies. I get going, and I just, it's kind of how it goes. Stu Pup and Canoe Man and Georgia Rebel all correctly straightened me out and said it's 11.7 scholarships for baseball. So I got the number wrong. So 11.7 is what you get. And they dole that up. And just sometimes it's just little pieces, A kid gets 10% of a scholarship. He gets 25% of a scholarship or something. And if there's a superstar, I remember back in the day, Tommy Slater, who was the Auburn baseball coach many years ago, offered Colby Rasmus a full ride at Auburn. And it was like, oh, shit, like a full baseball scholarship. Now, he was a kid from Phoenix City. No, he was from Seal, Russell County High School. And they really wanted him to be at Auburn. And actually, he had grown up an Auburn fan and really wanted to play at Auburn. But Colby Rasmus ended up being a first-round pick of the Cardinals, I believe. Ended up going. But he had a full ride at Auburn. That was a big deal at the time. I don't know if that still happens. I mean, you think somebody like Casey Mize, I don't know if he was that big of a deal out of high school, though. But you know how it goes. That was a big deal at the time. I was like, Colby Rasmus, oh, shit. Full ride, damn. You must really think a lot of him. And you must also think that he's going to come to Auburn. But then when he goes in the first round, it's like, yay. Oh, Raven, I know what you're doing, bro. Raven says, drink, JG. I've already done like 5 shots, bro. You know I've been drinking. I'm feeling it a little bit. My friend's still talking about my friend who plays the folk music. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. In other news, let's just change this because I don't want to get too down about this virus thing. Although I think we are getting to the end of this, or at least to the point where we don't have to freak out about it all the time. My dog, Maverick, you guys have seen him on the stream before. He's my pug. We got him from Moss Point, Mississippi in August. He was born in July. We got his nuts cut off the other day. We call that neutering. That is the politically correct phrase, but we got his nuts cut off, and I wanted to show you guys a picture of him. There's my man, Mavi. So he got his nuts cut off, and then he was having a problem kind of accessing the surgical area, and so we ended up having to put a cone on him to keep him from doing that. So my pug is going to spend the next few days wearing a cone on his head. It's pretty damn funny. In the beginning, I felt bad about it because I was like, I would not like to have a cone on my head. And I felt like it was almost inhumane in a way. But here's the bottom line. Like, I think he'd rather not have it on his head, honestly. But he's doing okay. Like, he doesn't seem particularly bothered by it. Like, he's okay. He's still able to eat. He's still able to drink. He's still able to chew his chew toys. He's able to go around and raise hell. And just kind of be the dick that he is and we know and love. So, anyway. I was showing them this picture of Mavi with a cone on his face. Mavi. My daughter, Maddie Tate, is in the Hizzle tonight. She's not made up at all. She's wearing her South Alabama sweatshirt. And we're very proud of you for getting a big-ass scholarship to go to South Alabama. Thank you. You know who that is? It is Elvis Presley. You're right. Do you know where he's from? Tupelo, Mississippi. All right, you're doing a hell of a job, Maddie. Anyway, Mav, we're going to leave Matt in the cone until he stops scratching his nutsack, right? What does the cat have to do with this? This cat's been here the whole time. There's my kitty. What's up, Sammy? How you doing, bro? You want to say hello to the folks? He's so happy. You like being on the show? Sammy. My puss. There goes my pussycat. I think he wants to go. Hold on. Open the door for him. I don't know if he's going to go out. You know how cats are. He gone. All right. Hope you guys like my pussycat. He's awesome. All right. So I felt bad about my dog having that comb, but he's going to be all right. We'll just go as long as it takes, a couple of days. All right. Let's see. What? Hornacia says she's going to Bammer. No, she's not. I told you guys, under no circumstance was she even allowed to apply to Alabama. I didn't even want her to go there. I think she did go on like a school trip or something. I was like, how did it go? And she was like, it's pretty good. And I was like, shut up. You're not going there. And then one of my friends was like, would you really not let her go there? I was like, hell yeah, I wouldn't let her go there. What do you mean? Well, do you feel like you're holding her back? I was like, no. It's Alabama. Like, no. I mean, no. No, I don't feel bad about it at all. Hey, you taxman says Maddie's going to be shutting down the Soul Kitchen on the rig. Actually, I was talking to Michael the other day, Michael of Voodoo Wing Company fame, about getting a meal plan with her at Voodoo. Because Voodoo is like seriously right across the street from South. I mean, she's taking classes in their medical sciences building. I mean, it's like a 5-minute walk to Voodoo. Man, she didn't need to come by there. Ruxpin says Coach, meaning Doc Dumpster, and Jeffrey F. Lee wants him on the horn. All right, we can do that. My daughter, Madison, I guess, is watching the show. What's up, Maddie? How you doing? She wants to know. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? She actually asked a question about Crocodile, who has made reference to bugs. Who are the bugs that Crocodile is referring to? Let me see. Bugs can mean different things depending on the context of the conversation. He says, can't believe the Bugs missed out on Maddie. Okay, so what he means there is the Bugs is like something that some Auburn fans call themselves or refer to other Auburn fans as Bugs as a joke. Like it's kind of like making fun of Auburn fans, but actually you're an Auburn fan, so it's not a big deal. Let's see. Powerman says, just got a text from the original number 15 son, an All-American Bug baseball player who is living in New York. Things are settling down up there. They feel a lot better with every passing day. Man, I'm glad to hear that, yo. Canoe Man says, grabbing the pug is normally the first sign to the impending drunkenness. What? Oh, I'm not loaded right now. I'm good. D Lucky says, go Jags. Semi-proud alum here. Look, man, South Alabama, I don't know how long it's been since you've been there, D Lucky, but that school is, I went there in 99. Auburn played basketball there when they had just opened the Mitchell Center. And Bob Wiltlick was the coach there. And I went back, obviously, a couple years ago when Maddie started talking to them. And, man, that place is, it's gotten a whole lot better. That's a really nice-looking school now. I'm really stoked about her going there. Jeremy W. says, hey, Jay, what are you drinking? I am drinking this Elijah Craig small batch. It's actually a special pull from Larry's Beverage Outlet. It's privately selected. Larry's Beverage Outlet is in, I believe, Union City, Georgia. I don't know. Ruxpin was talking like he knew what I was talking about on that earlier, but he's probably full of shit. But, I got this through my local bourbon group. I strongly encourage you guys to get involved if you have a local bourbon group. In my case, it's the River Region Bourbon Group, and I call this the Beast of Bourbon. To me, it's a little less sweet than the average Elijah Craig, and it's a little more oaky, which I consider to be good. But anyway, that's what I'm drinking. Will J says we're allowed to say bugs, but others aren't. Fair enough. sure Maddie's watching and she knows what I'm talking about now. I just got an OMG. I don't know what the hell that means. Hornatius says 1 a.m. beaches. Hornatius, why do you always cheer for that, bro? You always cheer for calamity. You want to watch the world burn. You want to watch me burn. I know where you're going with this, bro. Let's see. Andrew Beast is about the time to call Gus. No. We're not doing that. Auburn bred says South Alabama. Great school and great city. Go to Callahan's, JG, when you were visiting. At this point, I've just gone to Voodoo because you guys know I love me some Voodoo. And it's not just a little thing with the website. I mean, obviously they sponsor the rundown and all of our audio products, including the interviews that we've been posting from Kenny Britt and Bo Nix and Ryan Russell. But seriously, man, they're really good Auburn folks, and the food there is insane. I mean, it's good every single time we go. Anyway. Trying to figure out what's going on here. Jeremy W. thinks Elijah Craig is really damn good. To me, it's a great value bourbon. Not particularly expensive, as Vance M.E. was saying earlier. JG, what's your favorite? I know it's not one of those cheapies you're always drinking. I don't like to spend a bunch of money on bourbon. Because my father-in-law used to teach me. He's like, yo, I'll drink this Kentucky Gentleman all day long. I don't care. Don't get caught up in all this, 7-year, 10-year, 15-year bullshit. Pay your $20 for your half gallon and let's just get it done. I mean, I think there's something to be said for that. I don't want to drink Kentucky Gentleman myself, but I mean, Elijah Craig's a good medium, It's not super expensive. It's a little better than Kentucky Gentleman, but Raven says, call Gus. Georgia Rebel says, no doubt. Jeremy W. says, has Jay called Gus on here before? That would be hilarious. No, I'm not going to call Gus. I'm not going to cold call Gus like that. No. That's not what we're going to do. Let's see. Raven says, JG favorite is Eagle Rare. Now, listen, I do love me some Eagle Rare. Among the bourbons that I can actually get my hands on semi-regularly, Eagle Rare is my favorite. My all-time favorite is Joseph A. Magnus, but I can't always get my hands on that. I did, however, get a new bottle of that about 2 weeks ago from my friend here in town who offered it to me at a markup, but that's cool. It's all good. It's super delicious, and you don't ever see it in an ABC store. You got to kind of. I think you folks who live over in Georgia, I think you could get your hands on that Joseph A. Magnus. It's got a silver. I don't have it in front of me, but it's got a silver label on it, like silver with white script, and it is delicious. Now it is not Kentucky. It is. They actually distill it in Washington D.C., but it's based on a bourbon that was manufactured in Indiana, just across the border from Kentucky, in like Floyd's Knobs or somewhere years ago, and they shuttered the distillery, but then these folks kind of recaptured it. I went and got some of the old original juice, made more of it, turned that into a brand. Is basically the deal there. And I'm seriously, if you guys ever get on Reddit, and there's a bourbon group on there called Our Bourbon, and there's some really shrewd posters on there. I've gotten some really good ideas off that because everybody reviews shit on there. And obviously, you got some clowns on there, but you can kind of read them and tell how serious these folks are. Some of the folks that I think, in my estimation, are serious bourbon drinkers and who I can trust, I kind of follow them on Reddit. And so when they post a new review, I always read it and start considering, okay, is this something I want to pursue? Where can I get that? How can I get that? I don't know if you guys are Our Bourbon fans, though, but these people love the shit on Eagle Rare, and they're like, such a simpleton drink. And I'm like, come on, man. Is it the most complex bourbon? No, it's not, but it's good. I happen to really like it. So are you telling me I'm an idiot because I think that bourbon tastes delicious? No, I don't really care. You guys, Our Bourbon tends to get a little too much into I've got this special off-brand or, off-label 112 proof Willet, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, okay, great. I'm so happy you got that. It probably tastes like ass, right? That's why it's not mass-produced. And and also like if they're like, I remember when we went to Willett. What's up, administrative assistant? Hey, look who I've got here, yo. I got Abby. My man. There he is, guys. Mavi, what up, bro? You say hi to the peoples? My man. Hey. Hey, you doing all right? Give me a kiss. What's he mad about? You wouldn't let him eat the cat. We got an administrative assistant in the house. Some folks think that I'm already lit, Courtney. What? Wait, what did you say? Not quite lit? Okay. Well, it's Hornatius' fault. Actually, Hornatius and J-Rob were... J-Rob wanted to drink to the class of 2020 tonight, and... yeah. I mean, look, guys, seriously, I've been drinking Elijah Craig only tonight, and that's how much is gone. So, I mean, come on. I'm not that lit. Jeremy W. says, Jay, get me some Eagle Rare, and I will get you some butterscotch moonshine. That does not sound like a good trade. Plus, I think Jeffrey Lee can get his hands on some moonshine for me if I need it. I got a little bit of a hookup there. I know Jeffrey Lee. I've been missing some stuff here. Dadgummit. I don't know. I guess I went on a rant or something. I don't know. Powerman says, Little Powerman here. I like Bo Nix. I saw the TD in Texas. That was a nice one. The one to Seth Williams that won the game. Glad to have you on the show, Little Powerman. Your Padres stud. He's a really, really cool dude. And he and I have gone back and forth. We haven't always been, super tight. But I like him. He's good people. Even if I don't agree with him all the time. Jeffrey W. says it's hard to find Regal Rare and miss. He's cracking me up. Oh, he's dragging his dick, isn't he?
Maverick, stop it.
He was doing this before he got his nuts cut off, though. He likes to kind of lay down on his tummy, and then he drags himself along the floor. I've never seen a pug do this before. Look at your curls. The friction. Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. All right. Are you good? I'm good. Do you want to? Can you bring me some? Are you coming back up in a minute? I wouldn't mind a piece of that Papa John's, yeah. Okay. Administrative assistant, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We got some folks saying, I think Jeremy was saying that it's tough to get Eagle Rare in Mississippi. It ain't easy to get it here. What I have here was muled back from New Orleans, I believe, by my friend Chris H. Yeah, you know who you are. Let's see. AU Taxman says Magnus is MGP, right? I'm not sure what that means right off. I should know. I'm sorry about that. I just know it's Joseph on the I think it's JOS period A Magnus. I don't know. Raven says Jay Lee probably has a Ziploc bag of hooch somewhere. No, for real. When Jay Lee, the last time I drank moonshine with Jay Lee, I need to get on the horn with him actually. The last time I had moonshine, well, the one time I had moonshine with Jay Lee, it came in a one of those glass bottles. Come on, man, you would like put preserves in it. There's a word for it. I forget what it is. You know, normally people would put preserves or jam in it. It's a glass jar, and so you just screw the top off and knock it back. Jay Lee, as you would not be surprised to learn, has no problem just knocking that stuff out overall. No problem at all with Jay Lee. Ruxpin with another super chat says, this is for Maverick, my man. Mason jar, thank you, Canoe Man. A mason jar, it's exactly what it is. Thank you for the super chat, Ruxpin, from Maverick, my man with the cone on his head, and he's down 2 balls. And he will continue to be down 2 balls until his dying day on this earth. I mean, you know, Drew Carey says it's the right thing to do, and I'm just kidding. It's not really because of him, but you know, just do that. Georgia Rebel says Eagle Rare is all up in Georgia, though. I wish I lived in Georgia. I could drink Eagle Rare all the time. Seriously, guys, I'm going to be honest, though. I had to kind of dry out a little bit. Because when we first started on this virus thing and we were all kind of having to stay at home and my wife got laid off, we were doing more drinking. And I drink probably a little bit more than I should normally. And then we had a couple of days there where I should say, no, that's too much. Wait, what happened to that one? I don't need two. Okay. Why did she eat it? Okay. Let's see. Georgia Rebel says Booker is giving Aiton the business. Oh, my God. Are they already playing? I thought we were going to do that like Monday night. I thought we were only in the semifinals. Oh, well. Let's see if we can get Jeffrey Lee on the hone. Oh, we got a call coming in. Let's take this call. Oh, I already hit it. I hit yes, but let's do it again. Oh, there we go. Hey, caller. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
What's up, JG?
Word. I know this voice. I forgot who it is, though.
I know. I have a very distinctive voice. It's flying around.
What up, flying around? How you been, bro?
Man, good. First off, I'd just like to say condolences to you and Maddie. I myself have a one child, one daughter, and I couldn't imagine what you're going through as a dad, not getting to see her do the things seniors are supposed to do. So
I mean, it sucks, dude, but it could be way worse,
Yeah, I know.
How you been,
so real
bro?
Quick, still out of work. Still, I'm in the car industry. We're supposed to go back next week, but I'm thinking it's probably going to get pushed back another week. So,
Are you on the selling end or on the manufacturing end?
Manufacturer.
Oh, that's right. You're in enemy territory, aren't you?
That's right. That's right. And we just laid all our temporary workers off. So that's a lot of people. It's I hate it. It's the same thing we went through during the recession, and you meet a lot of folks, you become friends with them, and next thing you know, it's boom. But hey, bad stuff. We're talking about bad stuff, so let's talk about good stuff.
Yeah, Gus, man, play calling, really good, huh? It's teasing, man.
Hey, I know AU tax. I know AU tax, man. I just thought about that when you said that. He had the best sig I've ever seen on the bunker. It's some play. I can't remember. AU Taxman will just have to elaborate on it, but it was some goofed up play that he had on his sig that Gus did, and it was hilarious.
I forgot that one, but there's
anyway,
no shortage of those.
Oh, go. So I posted. I got a question for you. I posted something earlier on the bunker before you got on.
Oh yeah.
Name your top 3 vocalists.
Oh damn! I'd have to think about that one flying around.
Not the top 3. Just your top 3.
Oh, personally, well, I mean, I've listened to Geddy Lee so much. I know he has a weird voice, but he's one of my favorites just because I've grown up listening to him. So Geddy Lee.
Oh no, I mean.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury
that's
and
a good one.
Probably Mick Jagger. I mean, those 3.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
A lot of good singers there. And I like Freddie Mercury before the movie came out. I'm talking. I go back a little bit with Queen now.
Oh no, he's got a voice.
Great
I think mine is Don Henley.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Stevie Nicks and Dave Matthews. And I know a lot of people are going to give me shit about Dave Matthews, but I think Dave Matthews when I was 15, and now I'm about to turn 39. But anyways, Under the Table and Dreaming was like, I think the first CD I ever bought. And the man's still doing it. I mean, I love his voice, and like I said, I know a lot of people was going to give me shit about it, but I love Dave Matthews.
Yeah, he has kind of a niche voice, like Geddy Lee. Not totally unlike Geddy Lee. I'm not a big Dave Matthews fan, but I know Allie Davison, our former intern, she loves some Dave Matthews Band too.
I know. I tried to meet up with her during 1 year at Oak Mountain. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be at Oak Mountain. You want to I just wanted to, come see you." And she didn't reply.
Yeah. She gets a lot of that flying around. Don't take it personally, brother.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, we're just we're waiting on you to call Jeffrey, man. I'm
fixing to. I'm
hear
fixing
about
to.
these basketball studs.
No, I'm fixing to. I really am. I was about to dial it, and then you called. But we're awesome. Obviously, stoked to have you on the horn, brother.
Oh man, I appreciate it, and man, I love the bunker. I love the guys. Most of the guys. I don't think I've ever had any. I guess the only bad posters that rustled me to the max was a local vertical. I was just like, man, how can this dude?
He's not
I'm
been
so
posting
glad
very much.
you finally.
He doesn't post much anymore, brother.
I know, but it took you years to finally push that button. I was like, thank God.
Yeah, I know. He needed to go, bro, and he did. He's taking his walk down the road.
So, but yeah, if you're going to do that, let me get off the horn with you. I was about to get wasted. I'm sitting here drinking margarita on the rocks. So I'm
all right, man.
One more, and I'm done.
Well, I tell you, we'll get Jeffrey on the horn, and you just keep drinking, brother. All right.
All right, JG.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, love the show, bro.
See you, man.
All right.
Flying around, ladies and gentlemen. Out there building cars for us to purchase and drive and enjoy, and make money off of, or lose money off of. But it's it's your choice. All right, so we're gonna holler at Jeffrey. Obviously, we got several big days of basketball recruiting coming up, so we want to get straightened with Mr. Jeffrey Lee. Now, sometimes we don't get him on the first lick here, so we're just gonna have to kind of roll with this.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice message.
All right, so we didn't get him on the first lick. I told you guys we don't know. Uh-oh, he just texted me. Hold on. Seriously, he texted me like 8 minutes ago. He said I'm about to head to bed. Are you serious? He's going to go to bed at 9:40 on a Saturday? That's not acceptable. Oh, here he's calling me right now.
Yeah, hello. How you doing? Welcome, caller.
How about you?
How about you, Mr. Jeffrey Lee? How you doing, brother?
Fairly well, man. Fairly well.
So you're fixing to go to bed, bro?
Hell yeah, man.
Damn,
here's why.
Kind of early, I think.
Me and my hot young thing. Well, we get 4 nights a month without kids. This is one of those nights.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Hell yeah. So you got work to do.
No, I'm just really tired.
Yeah, I got you. Listen, the people want to have you on the air because they want to know about this basketball situation. We got JT Thor coming up tomorrow. We got Jalen coming up here in a few days. Let's just lay this out. I know you've done this already on Hoop Scoops, but for the folks on the show, tell us what's coming.
Well, today I put out my future cast. I felt good about it yesterday. I talked to a couple of people, close to his recruitment, and hearing Auburn's side of things with JT Thor, and they felt very confident, and not to the point where he's informed them or anything. They just liked where they were in his recruitment, how they put in a lot of work, recently. I think you talked about it earlier on the show where Auburn just kind of jumped into this thing about 2 months ago. And that's partly because of Cliff Omarui. That was kind of their number one guy at that 4 or 5 spot. And when it looked like he was going to stay home and go to Rutgers, which he did, Auburn started picking up, putting more moves on JT Thor, of course. I talked to him 3 weeks ago. He was going to come in for an official visit in April. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But he was able to get to Auburn twice during the season, including the last home game, loss maybe to Texas A&M. But Ira Bowman has put in a lot of work with Thor over those last couple of months. He's built trust with him. He's built trust with his older brother, who acts as a guardian for Thor. Oklahoma State has been the presumed favorite for a long time. He took an official visit out there. He's got some relationships there with the coaches, some connections. I think Auburn being closer to home, being on the up and up, this basketball program and in need of that 4 or 5 guy in this class is I think going to be enough for Auburn to get him in this class.
He's 6'10", but he's a guy who can run. I mean, he ain't like he's not a stationary guy like Austin Wiley. He's a runner, right?
He's more of an Anthony than an Austin.
All right. They could use that.
So yeah, he's not gonna play with his back to the basket. I can't imagine him playing the Austin Wiley role. I think he's more of a Anthony McLemore. He can even stretch out some and play. He's thin, but a good player, man. I think number 59 overall in Rivals, 150, top 10 power forward, and it'd be a really good start to the week for Auburn, getting closer to the April 15th signing day, which is just the first day. Thor's going to announce tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Central Time. The last I heard from Jalen was Friday at 3 p.m. Central Time, and then Greg will be the following Friday. I believe it's at night, but he'll do that live on Instagram. So those are the 3 that could potentially make Auburn's class. I'm not going to say make or break because it's not going to make or break Auburn's class. They've already got, Sharif Cooper, Chris Moore, Justin Powell. But this could certainly, elevate that class to, and the word I used was monumental yesterday in Hoop Scoops. And,
yeah.
You get one of these guys, one of the 3. You get 2 of the 3. But Auburn feels it's in a good spot with all 3 of them. That doesn't mean they feel like they're going to get them. That just means they've done all the work. They've put in a little more work than any other school, and they've put themselves in a position to be the pick.
At this point, 1 out of 3 is good. 2 out of 3 would be really good, and 3 out of 3 would be insanity, right? Is that how you see it?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Remarkable. Unheard of, 3 out of 3. And let's be honest here. The odds of that happening aren't very high. But if you look at each one, each individually, then, the chances with Thor, I think, are very high. I felt good yesterday. I felt even better today to put in my future cast for Auburn, and nothing has changed, and I don't expect it to. I truly feel Auburn will get Thor tomorrow. And then Jalen Green is announcing on Friday. And, I know, Corey Evans has been stuck on Memphis, and I wouldn't be surprised if he chose Memphis. But I really like where Auburn stands with Jalen Green. I think Auburn really likes where they stand with Greg Brown the following Friday. Texas is going to be tough. They're the home state team, hometown team. He's from Austin. But getting him out of Austin, if he leaves, Memphis is still in it with Greg, but if he leaves Texas, it's like with Omarui. If he leaves home, he's coming to Auburn. Greg Brown, if he leaves home, he's coming to Auburn. If not, he's going to stay at home, go to Texas.
Yeah.
But Auburn has confidence. Cautiously optimistic is the words you used earlier, and I think that's very well said.
Yeah. Could be. This could be an epic week for Auburn basketball. Just an absolutely face-melting week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, the odds of them getting 1 are extremely high. I think the odds of them getting 2 are high. And I think the odds of them getting all 3 they're there. It's a realistic option. It's a realistic possibility.
It's insane.
3 of the top 60 players in a matter of a week.
That's just it's Bruce Pearl and Chad and Ira and Wes, and they're just kicking ass. I don't know what to tell you.
They really are.
Before I let you go, I know you got some work to do. Brandon Council, your thoughts on just kind of what Auburn's getting with him and where he can kind of fit in? This is the offensive lineman from Akron, the grad transfer.
Yes, versatile. And I think we've seen before all this dead period came on, I got to see Bicknell, Jack Bicknell, and what he thinks of his offensive lineman. He wants those 6'4", 6'5" guys that can play anywhere along the line of scrimmage. Dylan Fairchild is one of those guys. Caleb Johnson is one of those guys. Brandon Council, again, is another one of those guys. He's played, I think, all 3 different positions at Akron. He could play guard, tackle. So he gives Auburn some options, some some depth across the board. You know, I haven't watched a lot on him. I just watched a little. I think Cole Kublik had a couple of shots and snaps on him. I love to listen to Cole, and obviously respect his opinion a lot more than my own on offensive lineman. He said, you know, he's got some work to do, but he's got some potential. But I know this. I do know that Gus Malzahn was extremely happy to get this kid in the fold. He didn't even visit Auburn. Never been to Auburn. He only visited Baylor, and most people thought he was going to Baylor. But Jack Bicknell, Chad Morris, Gus Malzahn, all were heavily involved in this guy's recruitment. Never came to campus, and yet here he is, you know, ready to enroll in the fall.
That's pretty impressive, man. To just put that much faith in a school, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. The opportunity for early playing time, and he does have an opportunity. He's got a 1 year left, his grad transfer, but he also was injured, I think 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year. So he's got an opportunity to get a waiver for a second year. So a lot of upside with this kid. You know, you can't go wrong with taking a kid like that. You know, he's already got college experience playing against D1 schools or P5 schools, whatever they call them now. Can play all the positions along the offensive line, and maturity, experience. Can't go wrong with a kid like this.
One last question. I'm sorry, it came up on the chat. The latest on Dylan Cardwell.
Wait and see. I really think he's a wait and see guy. You know, from talking to him last week, he basically said, I mean, he didn't hide it. He said, I'm waiting on Auburn. You know, I could make my choice, but I'm waiting to see what Auburn does. I think Auburn will wait to see what happens with Greg Brown. If any others, Sanago, Kuminga, the two guys from Jersey, or up Northeast, if any of those two guys get in the fold. But I think Cardwell, and I like him, dude. I don't know if you were with me. He came to a couple of football games. He is just physically impressive. I mean, he is huge, and I don't mean thick. I'm talking about just. I mean, I've seen some tall guys, but he's
he's a big boy. Right?
He's a big old boy.
Yeah. He
is a big old boy. So, and I love, he's a real smart kid, really good kid. I really like him personally. I'm a fan. I think it's going to be whether or not Auburn has a spot for him. They're in a position where they can tell this kid yay or nay.
Jeffrey Lee, you're an absolute beast, a titan when it comes to this kind of stuff, and just an absolute badass anyway. So, hope you're staying Rona free, and have a fun night.
Doing. Hey man, appreciate Ruxy Poo starting off the show with a 20 spot. Saw that, man. Ruxy Poo, I'm watching, big dog.
He's the
appreciate
man.
You, man.
All right, Jay Lee, you behave yourself, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
See you, bro.
Bye.
Jeffrey Lee, ladies and gentlemen. He is without son tonight, and he's got some stuff he's got to go handle. That's good. And we've also, for those of you, who aren't familiar, we got J-Head in the chat now. J-Head is one of our bunker absolute experts when it comes particularly to basketball recruiting, but he knows his way around some football recruiting scoop too. Is in the chat right now. And he and Jay Lee are almost all the time on the same page with this stuff. So there you go. Georgia Rebel, I don't like that suggestion. Anyway, Jay Lee thinks there's a chance they get all three, and that would be absolutely just bananas. Like, that would be. I mean, we're always saying this with BP, right? It's like the first time Auburn's done this, the first time Auburn's gotten 2 5-stars, whatever. It's always the first time Auburn gets to the Final Four. And it's just like, here we go again, Here we go again with some other insane recruiting performance threshold that we never thought Auburn could ever get to. It's bananas. I did text Doc Dumpsta. We're going to hang on here just a minute and make sure that, I want to get him on the horn if we can. He did an outstanding, incredible job promoting the show tonight and making sure we, got some of these folks on the horn. And obviously, we love talking to Doc. Sometimes he's got things going on a Saturday night. Whether it's a Philly, maybe he's got a shoulda. He's cooped up with. You never know. But we have sent word to Doc. I texted with him earlier today. But we'll see if we can catch up with him. For show. I wouldn't mind to get Sir Brian Matthews on the horn. Hold on, Doc's answering me right now. Taking a bite of that pizza, yo. I mean, if we're going to 1 a.m., you know what I mean? David the Wizard, that's not a very nice thing to say. I'm not even going to say what it was on the chat. Just going to leave that where it is. All right, let's get on the horn with Doc. My man. There he is. Here you go, Roxy. This is for you, buddy. Well, that's for everybody, really. But
Hello.
Can I help you a little bit there?
I'll tell you one dadgum thing. Sugar ticks and dog dicks. What's going on, dog? What's going on?
What up, Doc? How you been, bro?
I'm going to tell you this. I'll tell you what's going on. Best freaking bunker freaking show I've ever heard.
We had David the Wizard, man.
I'm not a technology genius at all, so I'm behind probably about 27 minutes. But to go from Ruxy Poo to Power Man, I miss freaking the Wizard. I'm going to go back and listen to him. But what a freaking show, baby. Good job.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, Doc. Basketball recruiting. I don't know how engaged you are with basketball recruiting. I know you love some, you know, when Auburn beats that ass. But how much?
Yeah, I love recruiting. The problem is I don't know any of these basketball recruits. So like people talk about Jalen Green. I watched him play. The Brown kid. I don't have any idea. And to be honest, I don't know that 99.9% of us know them or what they're going to do, but I'd love for them to come to Auburn. I just don't know anything about them.
Yeah, word. You just like watching Bruce and the boys kick ass, right?
Yeah. Here's my deal. If we play Wofford tomorrow in football or basketball, I'm gonna watch the game. If we play LSU, I don't know who our players are, but I can tell you after the game if they're good or not. Does that sound right?
Hell yeah, of course.
But listen, great show tonight. Listen, great brain drain. I love the direction this thing's going.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like a bunker come together. You know what I mean? A powwow, so to speak.
Well, I think, Power Man, I think is huge. I just think the people, obviously, Ruxy Poo is just a monster. And, like I text you today, I want to be your kind of PR intern on the brain drain. We just need more people to be involved, and I think they're getting involved.
The problem was that in football season, we had a lot of interest. Basketball, I felt like people didn't know. They were like, well, I don't know enough about basketball to call in. I was like, shit, just call in anyway. It doesn't matter. And now that
JGT, there's not a dumber motherfucker on the bunker than Doc Dumpster. I call your house 5 times a day. It doesn't matter what you know. Just give your opinion.
Hell yeah. Do you think we're going to play football this year, Doc?
Absolutely, dog. Yeah, we're playing football. Now, I don't know if we'll play just a 7-game SEC schedule or what we're going to do, but there's so much money in football. We're going to play football, believe me. And hopefully we're pretty good. I have no idea if we're going to be good or bad, but hopefully we're pretty good.
You're hoping that Chad can talk some sense into Gus, aren't you?
Yeah, kind of. I just think I think defensively we're going to take a step back. So that means offensively, which believe me, you know me, I think our offense was just pathetic last year. We've got to take a step forward offensively. But who knows? The other teams in the SEC they may be in the same boat we're in. But I hope Chad helps. I hope. I think Bo is. Somebody mentioned Nix today on the bunk. What people don't realize about Nix is, and I don't think Nix is some superstar, but he works his ass off. He's not playing video games on some media channel like everybody else is. He just wants to work. That's the way Nix works. So hopefully he keeps getting better and we're okay.
My thing is, Doc, I think we're going to play football, no doubt about it. my thing is 87, 88, 89,000 in Jordan Hare. I don't know if that's going to happen, brother.
Well, but here's the good thing. If there's not 87,000 in Jordan Hare, there's not going to be 87,000 in Baton Rouge or Tuscaloosa or Gainesville either. So hopefully it's an even playing field, and we're playing. It's X's and O's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If Auburn's playing in Athens in October this year, if they don't have any fans, that makes things a little bit easier, right? I mean, I'm not saying that it's easy, but it makes it easier.
Oh, no. Listen, it's definitely a game-changing deal. If everybody's playing in an 80,000-seat stadium in front of 21,000 people, I think it helps. Speaking of Athens, okay, let's go back to our Athens game last year, okay, where we did nothing for 3 quarters. All of a sudden, the fans go ballistic, and all of a sudden, we almost win that game the last 10 minutes of the game, okay? That doesn't happen this year. But you remember that game?
Hell yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, so maybe it'll help us, but it'll hurt us. But our fans were huge the last 10 minutes of the Athens game, and so if we go to Tuscaloosa and Athens this year, maybe we'll benefit from that. Who knows?
Hey, let me ask you this off topic, Doc. If you're going to have some bourbon, what's your choice there?
Right now, well, I tell you what, you're a little late, Coach. I'm watching the bottom. I'm watching the bottom fall out of a bottle of Evan Williams Green, and I'm about to listen. This is just between me. Don't tell your wife or Matt or anybody else. But there's a little bottle of Kentucky Gentleman under my TV center. I may go grab.
That's a good one right there, no doubt.
Yeah, for me, Kentucky Gentleman to me is is literally like a fillet for you. That's what I need. I need to get that going.
My father-in-law drank that stuff my father-in-law loved that stuff, Doc. I mean, legitimately loved it. And if you were going to buy him bourbon, that's what he wanted.
Let me tell you something. Is your father-in-law still alive?
No, he passed away a couple years ago.
Well, what I hate is that if your father-in-law is still alive, I would probably go to his house next week and be best friends with him.
He's a good dude.
That's just the way I operate. If you're going to buy a $10 bottle of bourbon, let's be best friends for life. You know what I mean?
He would have liked you, Doc. He really would have enjoyed you. I promise.
Dude, I would have put him. He would have been my best friend. Now tell me this, JG.
Yes,
is
sir.
everything going okay? Bunker oriented. Everything going okay?
Yeah, DM8 and Stump. I feel like they get people a little bit rustled, and we've been fussing a little bit too much about the virus, Doc. But honestly, man, I'm just not involved in that too much myself, and I don't think you are either.
Well, I will say this, just to be blunt. I think the bunker has been fantastic. Now DMA is a little different. But he's family. Now I want to make very, very clear. I want to make very, very clear that anybody who is a member of the bunker, you need to be family with DMA. We love each other, okay? He's different. He's a strange bird.
He is.
But we love it, okay? I will say this about the Stump fan. I'll get more into this next week, but he's got some pretty good points on the Navy deal. That whole remember the submarine guy or whatever that was fired by, who I'm talking about, Crozier?
You're talking about the carrier, right?
Yeah, okay. I think Stump fan has got some, and I've got a long line of Navy people in my family, but I think Stump fan he's on the right boat of that. I may be wrong. I'm gonna find out tonight, but anyway, but it's okay. We're all family. I just think the bunker's been fantastic. It sucks we don't have football or baseball to talk about or basketball.
Yeah.
But I think it's been fantastic.
Well, I appreciate you always pushing family. I feel like you're the guy who always reminds everybody, even when we get in some fights and some disagreements, we're still a family.
Well, but listen, that's who we are.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't know who you vote for. You probably don't know who I vote for. But in the end, we freaking worship Auburn family. That's
right.
What we are. We love it. Okay, this disease sucks, but we've got to worship the fact that we love people healthy. And we want people back to work. Does that not sound crazy?
No, it doesn't sound crazy. It sounds like a great freaking idea. So I'm all behind that, bro.
Yeah. So I appreciate you, JG Tate. Anything else that we need to talk about? Anything else going on?
Well, I just want you to know that I only do these shows once a week, Doc, and I miss you. I wish that I could have you on the horn midweek too. But we'll do the best we can.
How's your family doing, JG? Is everybody doing okay?
I mean, we're healthy, and that's all that matters right now. How about you?
Yeah, no, very true. Now, is Maddie doing okay? I know Maddie's, she's probably preparing to go to South Alabama. How's her life?
She's 18-year-old girl. Typical. How are you doing, bro? You and yours doing all right?
Dude, listen, I've got nephews. My nephews are age 4 to 17. Now, I will say this, and don't repeat this to anybody, but this coronavirus came at a great time for my nephew, my 16-year-old nephew plays soccer. You're a big soccer fan. I think Maddie plays soccer, okay? Well, my 6-year-old nephew, the problem is he's the worst soccer player in the history of the sport, okay? So my sister drags me to every single game. Well, the great thing about Corona is they can't play anymore, so I don't have to watch him. Now, I love him to death. He's the greatest guy in the world. JG Tate, I'm not kidding you. Sal Cannella looks like Nick Marshall compared to my nephew in soccer. Does that make sense?
Oh boy.
But I mean, does that tell you? I mean, Sal Cannella can't catch, okay, and Nick Marshall's to me the greatest athlete in the history of college sports. Would you agree that that's a good comparison?
Sal made some big catches along the way, Doc. I'm just going to put that there.
No, listen, he probably caught 3 passes at Auburn. 2 of them were in the end zone, which were great. They were right to him. He should have caught them, which was great. But I'm just saying, would you agree he's not the best athlete in the world?
No, I would agree with you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and let me tell you something about Sal. I will say this about Cannella. I think his clothing line, I hope it blows the hell up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
huge. And he's the next who's the guy that's married to Kim Kardashian?
Kanye West, brother.
Yeah. I hope what's his name? Sal is the next what's his name? Kanye West. I hope he's great. I just hope I hope we never sign a player like him in my life. But I hope we get you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We got through it this one time. Let's not do it again, right?
Well, let me tell you something, JGT. Nobody better than you. Thank you for what you do, and hey, happy Easter. Tell the family, tell Maddie and your lovely bride happy Easter, and we'll do this again next week or the week after.
All right, Doc. Be good, brother.
Take care, dog.
See you, man. Doc Dumpster, ladies and gentlemen. First bout Hall of Famer, all around good peoples, and big promoter of family. He loves to get involved when bunker folks get upset with each other and remind everybody that, hey, this is family. We're family. We're part of the AuburnSports.com family. We're part of the Auburn family. Maybe we don't agree on this issue, but we still have Auburn in common, You can still be mad at Gus together, You have that in common. We got David the Wizard still on the horn, still in the chat. Glad to have you still here, David. It says, Doc, I love you. Hell yeah, everybody loves Doc. We had a super chat come through, I believe, when Doc was on the horns from Sausage Broker. Thank you very much for your super chat. No message included, no message needed. Appreciate you supporting the show and also being part of the chat. I know you were asking about Dylan Cardwell earlier. I was glad to be able to ask Jeffrey Lee about that and sneak a little extra one there late. And also we're, of course, super enthusiastic to have J-Head in the chat. No doubt. We love J-Head. He's a badass. Crocodile says, whoa, Doc Dumpster Jr. is the Bo Nix successor. Who knew? Oh, man. Awesome to have Doc on the horn. Always a high point. I would like to get, just kind of here late, I know we're kind of late in the show. I'd like to promise everybody, Hornatius in particular, that we're going to go 3 hours. And we're currently at about 2:50. I would like to get Mr. BMAT on the horn and see what's up with him. I haven't communicated with him a bunch here in the last week or so. But he's been knocking that stuff out. And I also like that he's been doing the Sopranos watch-alongs. So let's get on with BMAT real quick and see what's up. Because he's obviously a titan. One of the true beasts. also may be.
Hello.
Yeah, who I got on the horn here, buddy?
This is old B-Matt. How you doing, bud?
What up, B-Matt? Are you in bed?
Not yet, no. We were working on a little puzzle tonight. Probably watch a little TV tonight.
Did you say you're working on a puzzle?
Yeah, we're doing a puzzle. Yep.
Was it fun?
Family time.
Was it fun?
Hello.
Yeah, was it fun?
Yeah. That's good. It's like we've done like 4 of them so far. So yeah.
It was like a family thing together or whatever.
Yes, although it was just me and my wife tonight. So.
Oh. Were
the rest of the family is not into it tonight. They were watching their shows or doing other stuff.
That's what the kids do, man. They get on their phones and it's just like they're gone. You know what I mean?
Yep, I do know what you mean.
How you been holding up, brother? I know you've been doing The Sopranos. You've been banging out some content for the AuburnSports.com faithful.
Yeah.
What else been going on?
And I'm excited about what's going on in basketball recruiting. I mean, Auburn could pick up a big one tomorrow. This could be a huge couple of weeks. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, you're talking about a top 50 kid in JT Thorne. You're talking about 2 top 10 kids, at the end of the week, and Jalen Green and was it Greg Brown, I think?
Yeah.
And maybe it was a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. So this could be an incredible couple of weeks for Auburn basketball, maybe the biggest weeks outside of, them playing games, recruiting-wise,
like
they've ever had.
That's crazy. Yeah. We got some folks asking if you were out of breath yet.
No, I'm good. I did all my walking this morning, and then we did some work cleaning out our garage today. So I got a lot of steps in doing that stuff. So
that's pretty big.
I'm Gucci.
That's pretty big.
I got I'm up to about 14,000 steps today. That's not bad.
Is that? I mean, you're shooting for a little bit more than 10. I know the standard is 10, but I think you shoot for like 12 to 13, right?
13 is my goal every day, so I usually get it, but not always.
Is that 2 different walks, or is that one long walk?
That's usually 2. Sometimes I do it once. It's hard to do it at once.
Yeah, that would be like an hour and probably 20 minutes for you, right?
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
I got these short legs, so I get more steps per minute than you do. I sure do miss walking around Beardy's with you and Jason. It really sucks, man.
I miss just hanging out and I really miss going to Voodoo. We ordered it, the family did, I think it was last week, and had it, and probably do it again this week. But, man, it's not the same.
They're joking on the chat that you're a high-risk COVID person. You got to really avoid that because you obviously have bad lung function. I'm not making light of it. I'm just saying.
I've been doing good. The only place we went today was Target to get the puzzle, and we went to Home Depot to get some weed and feed. But we wore a mask and we wiped ourselves down afterwards. So I feel pretty good about our social distancing and trying to stay away from it. The thing about it is, if we go back to quote unquote normal here in May or whatever, I'm just afraid it's all going to come rushing back, once people start hanging out with each other again. So
yeah, I hope that's not the case. We really need
Well, I do too. We need a vaccine as soon as possible, or some way to test people and quarantine them, and let the rest of us sort of go about our daily lives, so to speak.
Do you think we're going to be covering football in the fall?
I don't know. I really don't know. I just
the answer is yes.
Because the answer is it depends on what happens with this pandemic. It really does. And we just don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, what percentage of the U.S. has got it so far? I don't know.
Yeah,
what if it's less than 20 or 25%, whatever it is? I mean,
oh yeah, it's way less than that, I would say. Right.
So I mean, that leaves a ton of people that could still pass it along and get infected, assuming that you can't get reinfected, which I don't know that's true. So.
We've been talking on the show. It seems like a lot of folks, including me, think we will play this fall, but I don't think Jordan Hare is going to be full at all. I just don't think they can do that.
Well, to me, it's a real big issue if you don't bring students back to campus, being able to bring the student athletes back and have them participate in sports.
Yeah, can't do that.
I mean, maybe you could do it because the students are taking online classes, and maybe your student athletes can also take online classes, but just be there. Maybe that's a way around it or work around, maybe. But I just don't know.
Well, I mean, they have 3 summer sessions. The first 2 are online only, but the third, they said they're going to wait before they make a decision about it. So it's within the realm of possibility that Auburn students will be, on campus and getting taught in classrooms for the 3rd summer session. If that's true,
it is.
Then we're in good shape. Or, at least we have a chance.
It sort of seems like we're getting to a point where everything's going to try to get pushed back to normal sometime in Mayish, June-ish, July-ish. But then what happens, over those next 2 months, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tough, man.
I don't think anybody knows for sure, right?
Yeah,
I
you
just
and me
know
and Jeffrey,
we need a vaccine as soon as possible.
Yeah, me and you and Jeffrey, we need football. That's all
Yeah,
that
we
matters.
do.
All right,
And
well,
I sure would like to see these guys that Auburn's going to sign a basketball play together.
I know, and
they need that season. They need this to be an awesome, incredible season. I want to cover a bunch of NBA guys on one team. That would be fun.
Yeah, and then the football players, the seniors. I mean, the KJ Brits. You want to see them get their chance to kind of shine in their last shot.
Because of the money involved in it, I think they will do anything and everything to get some sort of a football season / playoffs / bowl season in some way, somehow. Whether that's delay it, compact it, start it, stop it, and start it again, whatever they got to do, I think they're going to find a way to get football in.
I tend to agree.
It just everything depends on that money that they get for that.
They need it, man. And I mean, if it's safe,
the only thing with college is, pros can do it much easier. They can do the no fans here, or go to the Major League Baseball talked about going to 2 sites spring training and doing it that way. So I think pro sports can do that. Just college, you just can't do that. You got to be on campus, and then can you be on campus without students on campus, or is it safe enough for everybody to be there? I don't know.
These are good questions, B. Matt. We're just going to need another month or two to figure that shit out. See if we can get there.
Yep.
All right, brother, man. We'll bounce at this point. I know you're going to get some Sopranos in.
Yeah, I have another recommendation too for streaming.
Yes.
Pennyworth is on Epic, and I don't think a lot of people have Epic because I don't see anybody talking about this show. I know YouTube TV is offering it 30 days for free. That's how I'm getting it right now, and it's a really good show. I recommend it.
What is it called again?
Pennyworth. It's about what's his name, Albert Pennyworth, who becomes Batman's Albert or whatever, his helper.
Butler or whatever.
Right. So this is his sort of origin story, and it's really, really good.
No kidding. Oh, I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yep. If you have Epic Channel or have a way to get it for free, check it out.
All right, B-Matt. You're the man, bro.
All right. Peace out.
Behave yourself. See you, bro.
You too, yeah.
We're also getting folks, let's see, Canoe Man jumps in and says Epics, or whatever, is free for the rest of the month. So you could probably get that cheap. Yeah, I was thinking it was Epics. Pennyworth. I have not even heard of that. I'm not even sure I've heard of Epics. Hey, Jay had mentioned in the chat he wouldn't mind to call in, and we've got a line for you, brother, if you want to call in. I'll definitely take your call anytime, man. Of course. Of course. You're an absolute beast. The Wizard of the Wiregrass. Robin says some men just want to see the world burn. Hey, I missed a super chat, though, for real, when we were on the horn. Call Me Biscuit jumped in again. Says B-Matt is Ward Cleaver Puzzler. He's the puzzler. I like it. Also, Sparrow Empire jumps in. Glad to have you here, Sparrow. Superstar. JG, April 17th may arguably be the biggest day in Auburn basketball history. My goodness. If we land Jalen, we may just reel in Greg and Thor. Colmanaya. Hey, caller. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Jay, what's going on, brother?
Word, bro. Is this J-Head?
This is him.
What up, bro?
Hey, nothing much, man. Just got done playing a little Trivial Pursuit. Unfortunately, Auburn basketball recruiting wasn't a category, so I got my ass handed to me. But beyond that, everything's going well. Just kind of trying to survive the day-to-day things and then working through this pandemic. How about you?
Yeah, same thing, man. I've told my story. I'd rather hear about everybody else's story.
I hear you. Yeah, I know. The monotony of everything, I think, is starting to weigh on everybody. But we just need to stay vigilant with it, and hopefully everything will work itself out.
We just got to be smart about it, man. And I think, honestly, we have been. In Montgomery, I'm way up here in the village of Montgomery, and man, the traffic's been really low. When I go to the grocery store, there's not that many people there. I feel like people are being pretty responsible.
I think so, and most of the people here in Mobile where I'm at, they're wearing their gloves and masks and doing all the things, seem to be washing their hands, and then specifically the people that I work with really seem to be taking this seriously, and I think that's all you can do, because it's not so much about you contracting it, but it's passing it on to somebody who could be at risk, and that's why we need to take it as seriously as we do.
That's the thing. All right, you are an expert in all things recruiting, but particularly basketball recruiting, just because I think it's a passion of yours. Well, what do you think is going to happen with these three big-time studs that are coming up here?
Well, I feel really good on JT Thor. I think he's going to be an excellent addition. We need some bigs. He's not a prototypical center, but he can play stretch five in our offense. I think he'll really fit. He's got some Tayshaun Prince to his game for those people that can remember Kentucky back in the day, where he's very skilled, not overly athletic, but got a lot of flow and rhythm to his game. They would remind you of Tayshaun, but can really shoot it. I think he's going to be able to add to his body when he gets in college, but he'll be a really great pickup for us. And I'm almost 99.9999% sure on JT. I feel really good on Jalen Green the following week. I think we sit right now. My confidence level is pretty high on that one. I know that Memphis is also confident, and it wouldn't surprise me if Mike Miller and Penny Hardaway pulled that off, because I know they've done a wonderful job recruiting him as well.
Yeah.
But I think we got a lot of things working in our favor here. I know that he wants to be successful in college. He wants to make sure that he's going to a university that's going to be able to kind of utilize him as a platform and specifically get him to the tournament. To this point, Penny hasn't shown that he's been able to do that, and he had a boatload of talent there last year in a conference that's not very good. So, you know what I mean, when you're taking all those things into consideration, amongst other things, the job that Ira's done, the job that Bruce has done, the job that Steven's done, connecting with him and his family, I think just all kind of lines up for us. And I think that then we'll be able to close there. And the one that I'm most unsure about is Greg Brown. And he's another one that's got potential through the roof, Jay. I mean, he's 6'9", can, guard anybody 2 through 5. Athletically he's as bouncy as anybody I've seen on the court. And I actually got a chance to peek at his senior film, and he shoots the three a lot better than I anticipated. When looking at his junior film, it was really his jump shot. It wasn't very fluid. There were some mechanical issues there, but he looks like he's cleaned a lot of things up. I know that his dad is extremely high on Bruce, as well as the other people that are there in the end with Penny in Texas. But and he's the guy that's really driving it. I mean, nobody wants to say that, but Greg Brown's dad is the one that's really going to kind of make this decision. I mean, obviously his son, has to be on board with it, but I think he's the one that's kind of driving it. And I think that Wes and Bruce have done a phenomenal job making that connection with him and making it feel like Auburn's a place that can showcase his talent to the next level.
Some serious studs right there. Do you looking forward to the roster situation for next year? Do you think any seniors are going to come back?
I don't. And well, you're talking about the 5 seniors from this past year?
Yeah, I mean, if those guys are going to have the opportunity to come back, at least from the NCAA's perspective, do you think any of them will actually play again at Auburn?
Are they? I thought that they deemed that just for spring sports, and that basketball was considered a winter sport.
Well, they were still negotiating that. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's still under negotiation for the winter aspect of it. I don't think anything's been solidified there. They have for spring for sure.
All right.
So baseball has that opportunity, which Lord only knows you got to get BMAC back on the phone for that. Yeah, that's all going to play out.
That's tricky,
but,
man.
Yeah. Well, and even the juniors. I mean, you think of guys, some of our pitchers, they've got to consider, what's in front of them as far as the draft and everything else and where they're going to be picked at. But that's just going to be Alan Green's going to have his hands full trying to get his hands wrapped around all of that. And then you factor in track and field. And where the money's going to come from specifically if we don't play football, which lets me dovetail into a big question. So you think that we're going to be able to play in the fall? That's kind of where you're at right now?
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I don't think there's either going to be limited fans or no fans, but I think they're going to play football.
I do believe they're going to play football, but my belief is unless we get some great news, and I'm not saying that they can, I'm hoping and I'm thinking that we are trending in that direction, but where everything stands right now, it feels to me like we're going to play football, but it's going to be in the spring. And it's going to be one of those weird situations, but because it's such a huge money draw for every institution, they're going to have to do something. So watching football in January is going to be a little weird, but that's the way I'm trending right now. I think they'll absolutely cram it in, and it would probably be a 9-game season because I think they'd have to make it even across the board for all the Power 5 teams. I don't think you could do anything where – because, the ACC and the SEC, I think they only play 8, where you got the Big 10 and everybody else that had Big 12 that play 9. So they would figure out a way to balance that out, have the SEC and ACC add an extra conference game. And I think even if they do that in the fall, I think that's what we're looking at because you're going to have such a truncated schedule trying to compact everything in because earliest they're probably going to be able to come back is August 1st, you think?
Yeah.
Or you think they'll get in before that?
Yeah, I think they can get on campus before that, but I mean, I don't know. I thought they were going to start their season on October 1st. It was kind of like my prediction, but I totally see where you're coming from, and I think you might be right. I'm just very optimistic, and I keep expecting a miracle, and it may or may not come. I don't know.
Well, Jay, I'm praying that you're right because having a fall with no football would seem extremely weird. That'd be the first time in 37 years for me that would be the case. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it does all work out for sure.
Me too. It's for the seniors, man, and those kids that depend on football that are going to make money in their lives and their families. I want that to happen for them. But we'll just kind of go. We'll roll with what we got.
Absolutely. Well, and then just think about how awkward it would be, for guys like KJ Britt, if it is in the spring. Well, now you got a bigger issue because you've also got the NFL draft on the tail end of your schedule. You get hurt in September, not that big of a deal. You get hurt in January and you got a draft coming up in April. Well, you got a decision you got to make. So I think that's going to be something that's going to be, that would be interesting across the board, how people that are going into their senior year would handle that, or people even contemplating sitting out.
It's going to be a very weird situation one way or another. I mean, that's just the truth. We're dealing with weird stuff.
Definitely unprecedented times, my man.
Well, listen, I appreciate you calling in, J-Head. You're just, you know what you're talking about, and I think everybody knows that, and so it's awesome having you on the show to provide, some perspective on stuff.
Well, I really appreciate you having me on as always, Jay. You guys do a phenomenal job. Thought Doc Dumpster killed it tonight.
As usual.
As always, Jay Lee brought the heat. B-Matt wasn't too breathy, so I thought it's been a phenomenal show.
All right, J-Head, you behave down there, brother.
All right, thanks, Jay. You have a great night.
See you, man. J-Head, one of the superstars on the bunker. Not a guy who posts a lot, but a guy who knows a lot, and when he's posting, you better be reading. I forget what his exact handle is. I mean, it's J-Head, and it's some numbers after it. But when you see J-Head, you better pay attention to what he's saying because he knows his stuff. All right, so I was taping the show for our podcast friends, and it is now run out of, tape. I mean, I filled up the card. We are currently at 10:30 in the Central Time Zone. We have been on the air for just a hair over 3 hours. And I know that Hornatius, this is the time of the show where Hornatius says we're going to 1 o'clock, but we're not going to go to 1 o'clock. And I am proud to say that I did kind of back it off a little bit. And I know Torque was concerned that I wasn't going to be able to keep up that pace early. I don't know if Torque's still here. I haven't seen him post in a minute, but I backed it off a little bit. I mean, I had a few, and I'm going to have one more because I love you guys. And here he goes, Hornatius is 1 a.m. We're not going to 1 a.m. Anyway, J-Head's a man. And you can tell, dude, J-Head, he loves Auburn, but he's also realistic when it comes to recruiting. I mean, he knows what's up, but he's not the guy that oversells things and say, oh, Auburn's going to get this kid, Auburn's going to get this kid. And even he's kind of optimistic and really is kind of wanting to think they're going to pull some of this off, and it would be insane if they get 2 of those 3 kids. I mean, it's insane. It's all insane. I mean, just think, I mean, the worst kid that BP and his staff recruit now probably would have been the greatest thing that Tony Barbie ever signed. Although I did like some of the kids Tony Barbie signed. Anyway, this one's going up right here to Hornatius, to Raven, to J-Rob, all the class of 2020 seniors. Oh, yeah. Canoeman says, yeah, you were entirely too sober for this part of the show. Yeah, I didn't want to get... Courtney, I want to have to go off the air tonight. No, I went back and looked at it last week. I was like, damn, I really was way too lit. Hornatius with a super chat coming through. It says, can't leave until the better Tate makes you stop. She knew last week there was something up. My guess is she's got this show on in the background or whatever she's doing. And she probably knows I'm okay. I'm not making a fool out of myself. So that's why she had only been up here once. War Eagle 0008 says, JG, if we land the remaining trio, where do you see everybody lining up? Greg Brown at 3. Yeah, probably Greg Brown at 3. Jalen at 2. Sharif at 1. It gets a little trickier at the other positions in the post. Jalen would be a guy. I would probably think Jalen at 4. Stretch at 5. I would need to see JT Thor myself and kind of understand what they want to do with him. At 6'10" and the skill set he has, he's probably a 5 in this system. He could play 4 though. I just don't know what they want to do with him. Jalen's, he's a 4, but to me, he's an offensive-minded 4. A shooter. He wasn't a great shooter this year, although he was fine. I think in the future he's going to be a great shooter. So he's going to be like what Anthony was supposed to be, and then ideally you'd have a 5 that would really just bang for rebounding. I don't know as though that's JT Thor. I do think Stretch can do some of that. I'd still like to see them get another, really reliable 4-5 guy that grabs rebounds and, the way Austin did this year, the way Horace did the year before. I'm not sure that person's here, although there's people who think Stretch is that guy. I just don't know. Let's see, Kyle says Thor shot 40% from 3 in EYBL last year. That's impressive. He's definitely going to be a 5 that stretches it out. He's not your traditional 5. He's not a big person. He's a tall person. He's a long person. He's just not a girthy, he's not going to be like Austin where he's elbowing people and knocking them out. But he's good. I think Jalen's going to be good. I do. Jalen's just got some fluidity to him that you don't see in players that young. Okoro has it, but Okoro's also probably a lottery pick. And then Jalen coming in, really, he didn't have that kind of hype, but I think he has that ceiling. I do. I think he's pretty special. I just, he does give me some Chuma vibes, but, Chuma had some rebounding and defensive value that I think people overlook because he was pretty damn good at those two things. And I didn't see as much from Jalen on that. Totally fixable. Again, he's a true freshman. And Chuma was not awesome as a true freshman. Now that Chuma's become such the pimp that he was, and particularly in the SEC tournament and moving into March last year, in the second half of March, I should say, everybody's like, oh, Chuma was so awesome. But remember, Chuma was just kind of so-so as a freshman. And he was so-so when he started his sophomore season. At some point there in the second month, I guess, of his sophomore season, it just like happened for him, And I can see that happening for Jalen too. Love the Cat says, LMAO, you said girthy. Yeah, I did. You know what I mean. Austin was such a big human being. It was difficult to displace. He was a tremendous rebounder, particularly on the defensive end. And you got to have guys like that. You got to get rebounds. That's one of the things that I think BP's system struggles with a little bit. He loves creating disadvantages. For him, advantages at every position, particularly 4-5. You think back in the day, Wayne Chisholm was such an unusual player in the SEC. He looked a lot like JT Thor. He's super thin, could run really well for a guy his size, but he could still kind of hang defending the 5. The problem is that you lose something with rebounding. Now, Wayne Chisholm, you didn't necessarily, but he was a special player. Is JT Thor going to be a special player? Possibly. But it seems to me like they're kind of loading up on playmakers, scorers, shooters, and they're not as big on rebounding and post defense. JT Thor's going to help them a little bit there, but again, I think of him more as a scorer right now. Chip reminds me that Chuma looked like a totally different player physically in year 2. He shed the baby fat. Yes, true. Hornacia says Chuma made it look effortless. Great athletes make it look like they aren't even trying hard. See Seth Williams. Well, the bunker said that Seth Williams was lazy last year. But Seth's just kind of who he is, man. He's a different cat, man. He has some of that Cam Newton to him, where you're just kind of like, what are you talking about? So, but Cam is all the way out that way. I mean, when we would interview Cam, I mean, every third or fourth thing he would say, I had no idea what he's talking about. It was just, he would just go on these rants. It didn't make any sense to me. I mean, and Seth's not quite like that, but Seth's super chill. Canoe Man Marquise Daniels is another great example of an incredible athlete making it look effortless. Man, you're right about Marquise Daniels. My good. I mean, honestly, I mean, now those of you in the chat know Marquise because you guys are like the 1%ers. You know, you guys are like the superstar Auburn people that pay attention to everything that's going on. But I think that your standard Auburn fan doesn't appreciate how good Marquise Daniels was because he was insane. And I say this all the time, but I think it's worth repeating because he's such a badass. He came to Auburn as an academic risk, and he graduated in 3 years. Because Marquise Daniels got here, and he had something on his mind. He was like, I'm not going to be this academic risk problem child that people want to say I am. And he was hell-bent on changing that, redirecting that, and saying, I'm going to be a stand-up citizen and I'm going to be a great basketball player. And he did both at Auburn. And now he's come back to coach with them and done the same thing. Absolute stud. And someone who should always be celebrated. You guys know that. The bunker people know that. But I wonder if some of the times the regular Auburn folks, you know, I mean, good people, but who maybe just aren't quite as up on Marquise Daniels as they should be. Who would say, oh, yeah, Marquise, he played here like, 20 years ago? There's more to it than that. All right. So he's got an NBA championship ring. I didn't even know that. I forgot. I remember him being with Indiana. And then he was with Dallas. That's right. He was with Dallas when they won, wasn't he? Sparrow Empire says Seth Williams equals James Pop Filter. I know this is very plush, guys. Very, very plush. Let's see. War Eagle asks again, how would Devin and Allen handle being bench players in year 2? Let's see. I'm trying to think. I'm just not thinking straight right now. Allen. Flanagan would be fine with that. Devin Cambridge. I don't know him as well. I can't really judge on Devin. I guess you just have to understand when players like, Sharif and Greg Brown and Jalen come in. Seems like great guys. It would be an interesting dynamic. Yeah, I mean, it would be. A lot of times the way BP handles it is he lets them scrimmage and stuff during the summer and in the fall, and they start to kind of understand what's up. So, like, if Devin, he's a fine basketball player, obviously, and he's going to be working to get better once he can get back in the gym, and he's going to get better. If he's getting outperformed by Greg Brown, he's going to know that. Most of those kids know it, and when that happens, and BP plays not Greg Brown, Jalen, if that were to happen, they're generally at peace with it. There's some cases where it's not that way, but the kids generally know who's better, and they generally are okay with that. Not okay with it, but you know what I mean? They understand where their coach is coming from. Love the Cat says Flanagan will always be a team guy. Yes, he will be. Although I'm still big on Al Flanagan. I think he's got ability. I know that he has some very glaring weaknesses too. But I think he's going to get over that. I think he's going to be a rim attacker, and I think he's going to give it hell on defense. And I think we're going to 2 years from now, we're going to see Al as like a really important part of the team. I don't think he'll ever be the star, but he's going to be a dude that plays all the time and and helps all the time. Let's see. Crocodile says that Jalen is in Sharice's chat right now. How about that, huh? Coop is live on Instagram right now. So, there you go. Pocket Watch says they'll have the opportunity to beat them out in practice. Exactly. It's a little, and football and basketball are a little bit different in that way. It's just been my experience having watched BP in whatever the 5 or 6 years he's been here, where he kind of lets them practice and then we can go. BP very rarely has a problem with us going to practice, and you can kind of watch it. And they establish their own hierarchy. Not to say that BP is like, oh, well, you guys figured it out. It ain't like that. But I mean, they know who's better and who's not. They know, and for the most part, they're okay with it. There were some dust-ups back in the day with TJ Dunnins, who thought he was Michael Jordan. But in general, kids, they figured out. All right, I'm going to bounce. Seriously, we've been going 3 hours and 15 minutes now. I'm still relatively sober, almost totally sober. I'm not going to 1 o'clock, although it may be 1 o'clock somewhere else in the world. I'm sure it is. We got a late super chat coming through from Spread Attack U18, your second one of the day, I believe. Thank you very much for that, sir. It says, Green would bring a game to Auburn, the likes of which we have never seen before. High fly, slamma-jamma, and that truly brings the roof down. Boom, 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 boom. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, I like Jalen Green a lot. He's a good player. Unpopular opinion, I think he's more advanced than Sharif. I think Sharif's still got a little bit of work to do. Sharif's not an elite shooter, I don't think. Sharif is a guy who is super quick and beats people off the dribble. And Jalen Green's, he can pretty much do anything he wants. So anyway, Jalen Green's a beast, and he will be committing in the next week. I think it's next Friday. Is that what Jay Lee was saying? I know Thor's tomorrow between Auburn and Oklahoma State. We'll see what happens on that. All right, Love the Cat says he is going to go to 1 o'clock beaches. I doubt it. Or maybe you would. I don't know. Raven says, cancel what I said about NBA championship. Oh, okay. My bad. I thought he was with that Dallas team that won, but I don't know. Spread Attack U18 says he's way more advanced. Yeah. Jalen Green is more advanced than Sharif. I mean, Sharif's a terrific player. I mean, no, there's no hating on that. He's a 5-star, and he should be. I'm just saying that he's a 5-star and needs to be in college. I think in the old days when you could go from high school to NBA direct, I think Jalen would have been one of those kids. War Eagle 0008 says, remember when Shaq Johnson was a recruit? We couldn't believe we signed. What a time to be an Auburn Hoops fan. Shaq Johnson, man, damn. He had the athleticism to belong on this team with Pearl. He did. He really did. He just didn't have the well, you know what? I'm doing some revisionist history here. And I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but and there's people, J-Head might have an opinion on this too, but at some point after between Pearl's second and third season, there was a change in the culture at Auburn, which I attribute to Mustafa, but you could also attribute at least partially to Jared. Not as much Bryce, because Bryce was kind of a powder early in his career, and I don't think he was helping very much at all as far as that goes. But there was like this level of professionalism, I guess you would call it, as far as working out, as far as taking your dieting seriously, taking your conditioning seriously, taking your weight lifting seriously. We got to step it up. We've got to act like pros every single day. I credit Mustafa with that. Other people don't. When Shaq was here, that culture didn't exist. So if Shaq Johnson comes in now where there is this culture of you need to get your ass on board, you need to work out harder, you need to get yourself together, maybe he is shaped a little bit differently and doesn't get in trouble and then ends up being, the kind of player he should have been. So I don't want to put it all on Shaq. I mean, we're all making our own decisions out there, but it would have helped if he'd had the culture to guide him in the direction that I think he should have gone. That just didn't exist when he was here. All right, that's the end of my rant on that. I do want to thank you again, Spread Attack U18, for your second super chat of the night. Appreciate you. Yo, yo, yo. Let's see. Bob Maplethorpe is signed off. Spread Attack bouncing out. Forrest B says, if we get Jalen, Greg, and JT, what are we pranked preseason? Man, that's a tough one, man. I mean, the year that John Wall came in as a true freshman at Kentucky, you know, he was preseason player of the year, despite having not played a single minute of college basketball. But he was on a kind of a different level than these guys. I don't know. I would say Auburn would be picked in the top 2 of the SEC, though. Love the Cat says, quit touching your face. I'm not touching my mouth or anything, bro. It's all good. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. I appreciate you guys being here. Some of you guys, I know Canoe Man's been here absolutely wire to wire. EU Taxman's been here wire to wire. Crocostyle's been here wire to wire. Hornatius has been here wire to wire. Absolutely. Raven was not wire to wire, but you've been here damn near the whole time. Pocket Watch has been here wire to wire. So very much appreciate it. Auburn Bread's been here a whole long while, I should say. All right, guys. Seriously, we'll wrap it up there. I want to thank all of our callers that called in, going all the way back to Ruxpin, all the way to J-Head here most recently. Really, really good stuff. Glad to have David the Wizard on to explain his the origin of his beef with Wireless Engineer 85. We'll get to the bottom of that. If I'm getting mixed up with Wireless Dam Engineer, I think that's on me. Also to Vance M.E. For his first call to the show. Obviously, Doc Dumpsta was on the horn. Power Man on the horn. Who am I missing? Flying Around was on the horn briefly. Jeffrey Lee, Mr. Brian Matthews on the horn as well. Tremendous show. And we're always having fun. And also for all of you guys who are bunker members, I think that's pretty much everybody. Thank you for sticking with us while there's no sports. It's very much appreciated. I mean, we're here for you. And even though there's no sports right now, I mean, we're still writing stuff and still doing our thing. And we will get sports back before too long. And when we do, we will be appreciating it even more than we did before. But we thank you very much for sticking with us. And, of course, for being here on the show. All of our super chatters, you guys rock. Appreciate you so much. All right, we'll check you out next weekend. There's been talk about some midweek shows. We'll worry about that when we get there. Anyway, until I see you next time, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. See ya.